end zone. Touchdown, Chapman.
Going to go onto the field with some game leading.
What a sight as the lights shine on bright on this one-of-a-kind Hall of Fame night as the Cal Lutheran Kingsmen march their forces in from Thousand Oaks, California into Wilson Field as they take on the Chapman Panthers, looking to continue their two-game winning streak here tonight, defending the home turf known as Wilson Field here in beautiful Orange, California. As Cal Lutheran, led by their field general, AJ Andrade, who has been absolutely incredible this season, slicing and dicing up defenses throughout this SCIAC season. And moving on to the Chapman Panthers, a new cat at the helm, Luke Peterman making his first ever collegiate start for the Chapman Panthers as he looks to continue this Panther push into the playoffs. As we welcome you in to the CSBN broadcast booth, Nico Schwegler on the call alongside the as always incredible Alejandro Flores. And Alejandro, what a matchup we have in store for the folks watching home tonight.
What a matchup indeed, and also worth mentioning a rematch from earlier in the season where the Chapman Panthers actually went into the Kingsman territory and lost that game 24-21, looking to get a little bit of revenge in this matchup.
Revenge indeed, and ever since then, that was their last loss. And last weekend against the Pomona Pincer Sagehens, they were absolutely dominant on both sides of the ball.
Quarterback Tyler Pacheco surveys the field from the pocket and keeps his cool while getting hit, throwing a dot to his top wide receiver, Amir Adams, to give Chapman a 7-0 lead. Defensive back Colin Keith makes a great play on the ball by being engaged on the play after the ball is thrown on target and reading the receiver's route perfectly to pick up a key interception to set up the Chapman offense deep in Pomona territory. Chapman's defense stops another long Pomona drive as the first half winds down. Linebacker Hunter Hadley is able to just bull rush the running back to create a wide open pass to the quarterback while making a textbook tackle to force a strip sack. Quarterback Luke Peterman was able to lead a scoring drive of his own. He starts off this play by faking out the rusher with his eyes and arm with the throw fake from behind the line of scrimmage. He caps it off with an amazing 43-yard touchdown run down the middle and breaks a tackle to give Chapman a 21-0 lead in the third quarter. Gio Ricino uses great blocks from his offensive line to find the running lane on the right side to pick up the game-clinching first down. Chapman outrushed Pomona 315 yards to -30. Chapman comes away with a 21-0 win and moves their SCIAC record to 2-2 and their overall record to 2-3 on the season.
Chapman playing pretty much a perfect complete game as you could, and most impressive was that defense holding Pomona to a shutout. 4 takeaways, and as Josh mentioned, -30 rushing yards given up. It was quite an impressive sight, Alejandro.
Yeah, I don't know if you noticed, huh? A lot of defense being mentioned in that highlight tape. That's going to be what we're mentioning a lot tonight. Defense, defense, defense. And when we look at both of these teams and where they stand matchup-wise, you're going to see why that's such an importance when you look at Chapman versus Cal Lutheran's defense, especially when you have the matchup of Chapman allowing 18.6 points allowed per game, whereas Cal Lutheran has 30 points per game. So it's going to be huge to see if that Chapman defense can try to bring that down a little bit. Also, a huge emphasis for the Chapman Panthers on the offensive side. They have now averaged 180 rushing yards per game, an absurd number, and Cal Lutheran allowing 159 rushing yards per game. So that's what the Panthers are going to have to try to take advantage of in this game. And now this is the big one that the Panthers need to turn around. 39% on third down conversions. That is not a great number, and when you want to keep drives alive, that is what you need to convert on. So the Chapman Panthers need to emphasize on getting it third and short.
And most importantly, that third down conversion. What else is important are these SCIAC standings as we get closer to the SCIAC playoffs. As you can see there, Claremont and Redlands both at 3-1 so far in conference. Pomona sitting at 2-2, and Laverne still looking for their first win of the season in conference. But as you can see there, Cal Lutheran and Chapman both in the Surf division at 2-2. Definitely trying to get ahead of one another. Cal Lutheran holding the tiebreaker. And as you mentioned in that previous game, Chapman had Nathaniel Espinosa start that game. Tyler Pacheco came in, they'll be without both of those quarterbacks in tonight's game as Luke Peterman comes in for this one. As we're going to throw it down to our very own sideline reporter, Orion Powell, who has the latest on Chapman's quarterback room. Orion?
Chapman has had a rough year so far with quarterbacks, with both Pacheco and Espinoza going down early. However, not all hope is lost, as Peterman has looked solid so far as from what I've seen in practice. However, what caused this is fundamentally that Chapman struggled early with predictability because they were a pass-first offense. And in their attempt to shift to a run-first offense, they had to incorporate a lot of QB runs, which allowed both of those injuries to happen. However, this has been incredibly successful for Chapman, as they are on not just a 2-game win streak, a convincing 2-game win streak, and this is an incredibly important game for their playoff push. Back to you guys.
Thank you so much for that update, Orion. And as you said, Chapman and Cal Lutheran, both these quarterbacks, key cogs in the machine for both of these teams. However, both of these teams also have a bunch of other key players who will be difference makers in this one. And starting out with Cal Lutheran, defensive back number 20, Nolan Jackson, the senior, who has been all over the field for the Cal Lutheran Kingsmen. 41 tackles, 3.5 of those coming for tackles for loss, and 3 pass breakups, almost Derwin James-esque, being able to defend the rush and the pass. He'll be a difference maker, making things hard for Luke Peterman in this first start. And also on that defensive line, manning the trenches, number 91, Devin Gooseby, 31 tackles, 5.5 tackles for loss, and 5 of which being sacks on the quarterback. Opposing SCIAC QBs have been fearful of this man all season in his sophomore year, as well as the rest of that defensive line. But Alejandro, Chapman has some key playmakers of their own, don't they?
Yes, I like to call them juggernauts per se. These key players are here, make a huge impact on the game. Colin Keefe is the first one we have to talk about, the defensive back for the Chapman Panthers. Now, when you can have a defensive back that works in that second level and is able to stop the run game like Keefe is, that is huge. 30 tackles per game, 2 interceptions, and 0.5 tackles for a loss. That is a huge, when the run game gets past that first level, if you can have someone in the second level who's able to stop it, prevent it from getting to a big run, maybe stop it at 5 yards, that is exactly why this Chapman Panthers defense has been doing such a great job defensively recently. Now, if we look to the offensive end, you have to talk about the run game. 180 rushing yards per game for the Chapman Panthers, and that's a big thanks to Gio Ursino recently, who has stepped up to the helm. Gio Ursino is going to be a huge emphasis in this run game, especially with the new quarterback in. You want to establish the run. Gio, 246 rushing yards per game, 4.9 yards per carry, and 2 rushing touchdowns. If they can establish Gio, if they can establish that run game, it's going to make life so much easier for Peterman. And speaking of Gio, we also have one of our very own, Riley Wood, who had the opportunity to sit with Gio and have a conversation.
You know, I'm a running back, and I'm a documentary major. Yeah. It's a pretty big commitment during the season. It's 6 days a week. During the week, our nights are pretty full, and then Fridays we do kind of a film walkthrough, getting ready for the game. And then Saturday is pretty much the whole day's game. You know, in the morning we're just kind of doing our own thing, prepping, like getting ready. And then once we get to campus, it's just game time the whole day. Sundays we watch the game from the previous day all the way through. Then we come on the field and kind of do some light exercising, stuff like that. But during the season, it's pretty time consuming. I would say work ethic applies to both football and film, right? Just like when you're on the field, it's just about how much you put into it is how much you get out of it, right? And the same thing with, you know, this kind of project. I love the post-apocalyptic genre. I've always wanted to make one, but I've always not had the resources to do it because it's something that's, you can't just pick up a camera and make it, right? You gotta have the locations and the resources, and you know, so I've always been someone that doesn't want to do it unless I can do it right. It's called Red Plague, like a post-apocalyptic Western. It's about a father reconnecting with his lost daughter amid this viral epidemic. It's from the perspective of a guy who's really lost a lot, and and the world's kind of bleak, but he's kind of learning how
Referee
to
mic check. 1,
help
2,
himself
3,
back up again.
4.
I would say that the main themes about it are kind of learning how to appreciate the beauty of the world around you again. It has been a grind. Just only having 1, maybe 2 days to really focus on it is. Sometimes I feel like a little overwhelmed, just like dealing with all the stuff. But so far it's been okay. I've been able to juggle both. And then once the season's over, obviously I'm gonna spend full time going into it. And the reason I wanted to come to Chapman is because I could do both. Football's not gonna keep you from the other things that you love to do. When I think about who I am as a person, it's definitely a storyteller and an artist first. So.
What so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets rang glare, the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Of the national anthem there by Chapman's very own Evan Richards. And as we mentioned, Gio Orsino just proving the difficulties of student and athlete life, but he makes it look seemingly easy, Alejandro.
Yeah, it takes a lot of time, dedication, and really just, working on your craft every single day. Again, like he said, 6 days a week that he has to put into football, having to always find time in between practices, after practices to get the work that he wants done.
Absolutely. And now, as we look forward toward this matchup, let's take a look at both of these highly respected coaches for both of these teams. Starting out with Chapman head coach Bob Owens, now in his 18th season, 95-59 as Chapman head coach, over a 60% win percentage, which has led him to be a 5-time SCIAC title champion, 3 of which coming with Chapman, and a 4-time SCIAC Coach of the Year, most recently in 2019, where he led the Chapman Panthers to a 10-1 record and the NCAA tournament. And as we take a look at the other side of the field, Anthony Lugo, now in his 3rd year with Cal Lutheran as head coach, a 48% winning percentage. He led the team to its best start, 5-0 in 2021, its best since 2006. And he was a part of that coaching staff that won 4 SCIAC titles from 2009 to 2012. As both these teams get out here on the field prepping for this one, as we are in store for a massive game, Alejandro, with massive implications in terms of this SCIAC playoff push.
Yeah, and just one thing that you mentioned, between both of those coaches that really stood out to me was the experience. Again, like we mentioned, the importance of this matchup. These are 2 teams here who are trying to make a playoff push. The winner of this game can slingshot themselves right into playoff position and put themselves in the driver's seat, basically control your own destiny. So when you have 2 coaches that know what they're doing, have been in situations like this before, it gives the team so much more confidence. As you mentioned, Bob Owens, he's taken his team to the NCAA championship before. He's been here before. He's had to work from the ground up to this moment, as we have the coin toss coming up right now. They say tails never fails, right?
That's
I
where
think
I
I
would
heard
go.
heads.
Chapman has won the toss. He elected to defer. Kalu will receive on this end of the field.
And Robin Hall right there, winning the toss, is Chapman University, as they will elect to defer, meaning that Cal Lutheran will get the ball first. And as you mentioned, both these coaches, highly respected, highly reputable in the SCIAC conference. And Bob Owens, going into this season, hadn't lost to Anthony Lugo or this program in over a decade. That last game coming in Cal Lutheran in Thousand Oaks, 24-21 for the Kingsmen. That was the first loss in over a decade that Chapman had suffered to the Kingsmen. Alejandro, how can the Panthers fix that tonight?
Well, again, as I mentioned, it's the big emphasis on defense. But more specifically, when it comes to defense, it's creating short field opportunities. You have a new quarterback, Luke Peterman, right? You don't want to have to make him always drive down the entirety of the field. You want to get him in rhythm, and you want to put him in good situations where he's comfortable. You got to force turnovers, fumbles, interceptions, turnover on downs. However you can do it, create a short field for Luke. And then when it comes to the offense, I've mentioned this, I feel like a broken record. Run game, right? But not just because of the fact that the run game itself can work, but because of the fact that it can work for Luke. When you get the run game going, the play action gets going. And you give Luke more time in the pocket, rolling out, booting out, open receivers. That's how you want to get him in rhythm. You don't want to force him into a situation where it's always third and long. You're always going to know he drops back, and the defense can pin their ears back and just send pressure. You want Luke to find good opportunities, good throws, and also don't be afraid to take some shots. Because of the fact that Cal Lu is expecting a new quarterback to come in, they're going to try to play a little bit more conservative, they assume. You have Amir Adams. You have some top-notch receivers here for the Chapman Panthers. Don't be afraid to take some shots. Trust Peterman. You're going to have to do that. You're going to have to stretch the field, or else the offense is going to get predictable, and then at that point, Peterman's just going to be put in a box.
And I mean, as we got the Guns N' Roses going in the background, welcome to the jungle for Luke Peterman, his first ever collegiate start here at Chapman University. And there's no better way, as you said, to really set a tone than giving your defense, who has allowed 7 points per game, 7 points in these past two games, including that shutout last weekend at Pomona. They'll be looking to set a tone, give their quarterback that short field, as you mentioned. And obviously, Luke Peterman, all he has to do tonight is really manage this game, especially in this first half. Chapman has been very successful in first halves, especially this first quarter, outscoring opponents 48-14. However, that second half, this season, they've started to tail off. Only 17 points through their first 5 games in the second half. They got to find a way to keep this going, coming out of the locker room.
Yes.
In order to come away with the win here tonight against a Cal Lutheran side trying to bounce back from that tough loss to Redlands last weekend.
And I think the best thing right now is the fact that the defense is going to be on the field first, so it allows Peterman to actually get a feel from the sidelines, a vibe for the game and a feel for it. It helps the quarterback just as much as it helps the defense going first. Now, worth mentioning again, Cal Lu is very dangerous in the kick return. They averaged 490 yards on kick returns, so. And they did have a kick return touchdown against the Chapman Panthers in the last game. So
absolutely, as All-American Owen Tapia getting us started in this one, as it's going to be returned here near the 10-yard line. And as you mentioned, Cal Lutheran's so dangerous on those special teams returns, as they're going to get out just to about the 26-yard line here, as this dominant Chapman defense comes out on the field for the first time.
Man, no one in the SCIAC is doing it like Cal Lu on the kick returns and special teams right now. I have to say, what you saw there, while they were only for an extra yard, because it was a great breakthrough by the Chapman defender, they had a wall set up, just perfect blocking set up throughout the whole entire kickoff scheme.
And here's JP Andrade now under center in the shotgun, first play of the game. And we'll see if Chapman's sending a blitz here. They elect to rush with 5. And Andrade able to find his man on the left side. That looks to be number 15 out there. Connor Matzke, the 6'3" receiver. He's going to look to get going.
It's a good one-step drop throw. Quick, knowing it's man defense, recognizing that. Able to get the ball out quick. It's exactly what you want. Now they're trying to go hurry up, seeing if they can try to find rhythm and get the Chapman Panthers off guard.
And Andrade back in the gun as well. Dylan Turner, who won an Offensive Player of the Week award 2 weeks ago.
Worth looking for the Chapman Panthers defense. It looks like man on the left side. Zone on the right.
And a big hit there from Roman Harden, the freshman defensive back. Coming up to light, number 7, Jaden Klein, the tight end. And Klein a little hobbled up after that one, Alejandro.
I love the coverage because you have man set up on one side, you have zone on the other. It makes it hard for the quarterback to truly read what's happening on the play. And most of the quarterback's decision-making happens pre-play. What they see, football's such a game of chess, where the pieces are set up. A quarterback reads that and then knows. Again, worth mentioning, again, Chapman having one high safety here on this play. And where the biggest tell is the DB. Whether they're looking at the quarterback or the DB, seeing their eyes on the DB, looks like man coverage.
Andrade once more on the gun. Looking short once more, finds number 87 right there, as they're gonna get a gain of roughly 6, it looks like.
Good short throws right now for Andrade. Perfect way to get in rhythm. Right now, if you're the Chapman Panthers defense, you're playing press up, but clearly they're moving back right at the snap. They don't want anything big to get away. But you also don't want to just keep letting Andrade get in rhythm and chip away. You want to start putting some pressure, change things up, especially early in the game.
Andrade just under 1,500 yards so far this season as a passer, 8 touchdowns, averaging nearly 250 a game. Although he has been subject to getting sacked quite a bit this year, as that one's going to be fired out towards the near side. Number 23, Tyson Lundring, picking it up right there.
I don't know. I don't know about you, but when I saw there, that looked like a bit of a hold by the receiver there on the screenplay. In the end, it worked in Cal Lu's favor. And again, these short throws just chipping away. Especially on a 3rd and short right now, you want to emphasize changing it up, getting Andrade off of his one-step drop base, try to get him off rhythm. Close that first receiving option.
As this one's going to be handed off to Turner, who's going to push the pile right here and keeps on going as he gets the first down on 3rd and short. Dylan Turner was masterful in that game against Laverne and Cal Lutheran's homecoming, where they won 55-0, put an absolute whooping on them, and he rightfully won Offensive Player of the Week after that one.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's the big thing for Cal Lu is there's been a huge emphasis, 200 passing yards per game, but less than 100 rushing yards. If they can establish the run in this game, that makes their offense just even more deadly.
Andrade trying to figure out the call right here. And you know, the Kingsmen, not necessarily a team you'd see going long very often. Obviously, Andrade has the arm power. However, they elect to go for short passes, and that one's intercepted! Hunter Headley! What a pick right there from the star linebacker, who's been phenomenal during this winning streak, Alejandro. His 4th pick of the season already.
Finally, right? What did I say? It's about playing the short game. They're letting Andrade try to get in rhythm, short passes, slants to flat combos, quick one-step reads. And what he does perfectly right there is close in, but not just close in from the outside, but close right in from the inside to cut off the pass and not just stop it, but get a turnover. And now here we're talking about the short field is what exactly Peterman needs right now.
And Headley just continuing to impress now as Luke Peterman taking his first snap at home, and it's going to be a penalty on the play. We will see, as it looks like it'll probably be a false start.
Number 52, offense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Now, one thing I have to say, even though the play didn't happen, I like the idea of passing on that first play, catching Cal Lu a little bit off guard with the new quarterback and rolling him out too, giving him room to make a throw. But Chapman has been hurting themselves a lot with self-harming penalties, false starts, holding calls. Throughout the season, that has been the story of a lot of their games. They need to fix that up.
I mean, absolutely. Averaging nearly 60 yards in penalties a game as Peterman going to roll out right, looking, and that one's going to be incomplete as he was targeting right there. Number 4 on the pass right there. Peterman 0 for 1 right here.
Okay,
but
now
a decent play right there.
You know how I said it was a cool play at first? Well, you kind of showed your hand already when they got the false start. I would not have ran that a second time. Try to maybe do something, a play off of the rollout where he rolls out but then actually hands it off to the running back, come in the opposite direction. See, because now you put yourself in a 2nd and long. You want to get yards here for Peter to make it 3rd and manageable.
As we have Isaiah Woods now in the backfield, and Woods is going to take the handoff right there. Woods, who had a great game last weekend against Pomona, I believe over 130 rushing yards and a touchdown. He continues to be one of the best players for this Chapman offense, obviously coming in for the injured Marcos Reyes. Him and Ursino have been incredible as a 1-2 punch for the Chapman Panthers,
Alejandro. Say, the perfect thing is the fact that you can never have too many running backs. And when you have a lightning and thunder duo like Woods and Ursino, it helps out the offense drastically. Now here we go, 3rd downs. This is huge for the Panthers. You want to convert on these. Keep the drive alive.
Peterman looking over the middle of the field. And that one, incomplete. As a big hit right there, but a flag gonna come out after the play.
Ooh, I mean, that was a really good defensive play, though, I have to say. It was a great, quick read by the DB to recognize no one is behind him in his zone.
After the play,
to move into the middle.
Unsportsmanlike conduct, defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic, 1st down.
And that's what I had a feeling of, too. It's the fact that the hit itself, I was about to say, didn't feel illegal.
The foul is on number 20, and that is his 1st foul towards disqualification.
Just had to let the ref finish there. But as I was saying, you know, it was a clean hit, shoulder pad to shoulder pad there. Again, that's a great stop. You can't give up penalties like that.
And
you can't let Peterman drive down the field off of penalties.
Absolutely, and I mean, that was one of our key players for Cal Lutheran, Nolan Jackson, who's been incredible this season. A perfectly laid hit on James Crowell, but then just the extra celebration. Gonna pick up his first personal foul right there as Peterman looks to continue this drive. And there we go, handing off to Gio Ursino, who's gonna get a gain of a few right there. But as you said, Luke Peterman, I think Bob Owen should definitely be looking towards Ursino and Woods, especially early in this game, to try and set that tone for Chapman's offense going forward.
Definitely, and if that run play right there is anything to show, it shows that the Chapman Panthers need to get to that 2nd level quick. A lot of the run block schemes that happen off is usually it takes 2 to go to 1 lineman and then 1 passes off into the linebacking core. You have to do that quick. Give your running back some room here, especially with the speed that they have.
Peterman gonna hand this one off to Woods. And Woods is gonna continue to push the pile right there, as it will now be 3rd and short for the Panthers.
This is what you want. 3rd and short right here. 3rd and manageable. You have a little bit more variety that you could do with your play calling in a 3rd down situation like this. This is exactly what Chapman needs to keep doing. Putting themselves in 3rd and less than 5 situations. Help Peterman out. Let him get in rhythm.
Peterman now in the gun. Going in motion right there as they're going to hand this one off to Woods once more, but that one is stuffed. Nolan Jackson getting into the backfield and blowing that one up.
Isn't he letting his presence be felt right now? I mean,
absolutely.
Didn't you mention a Derwin James type of player?
Absolutely. I mean, Derwin James, known for his presence in both the running and passing game on the defensive side of the ball. And right there, you've seen already 2 plays from Nolan Jackson, barring that penalty for excessive celebration. But you saw it on the hit of Crowell and Woods right there, just getting blown up as Chapman's now going to go for it on 4th and 5, instilling a lot of trust in their new quarterback right here, Alejandro.
I agree with this decision. It's a no man's land territory. Trust your quarterback, see what he can do.
And that one's going to get dumped off right there as it's going to go to number 3, Quentin Bible, the tight end. Definitely going to be looking to get him going as a safety blanket for Peterman. And Peterman converting on that 4th down right there. A great start for the Panthers offense.
I have to mention, that play was designed for Biebel from the start. Peterman had no other option there. That receiver went out to a block.
Holding. Number 18, offense. 10-yard penalty will bring the ball back. We will have 4th down.
So as I mentioned, the receiver was immediately blocking on this play. It was an immediate, look at that. The receivers aren't even going out for a route. This was designed for him from the start. So due to that, you can't hold on those situations. You got to stay in front and then trust, too, that your tight end is big enough to take a tackle or 2 to fight for that first.
Absolutely. Is that penalty negating that one? And the offense still out there. Ursino in the backfield alongside Peterman. It's going to be
Still no man's land.
Still 4th down.
Charge timeout. Chapman. They have 2 remaining in the half.
It's Chapman going to burn their first timeout right here, Alejandro, but an interesting move from Bob Owens early in this game, going for it on 4th down, obviously not getting it there off the penalty, but it's great to see Luke Peterman sort of find his rhythm early in this game. And would it be a surprise to see him either try and get it going with his legs? He had that long 43-yard rushing touchdown last weekend, putting them up 21-0, or taking a shot to someone like Amir Adams or Legman down the field.
No, and Peterman needs to understand, too, that he is quick. And, you know, it's when the play breaks down and he sees no one there, he has to be quick and reactive with his decisions. As soon as he sees no one there, go quick for the run. Take it the distance. But what I also want to see is they're starting off with a lot of short passes, mesh concepts, out routes and stuff. Use those. Build off of those. But as you start completing those, don't make the same mistake that Cal Lu made. Build off of the short routes. You know, maybe have a layered concept above the drag route that can kind of bring the linebacker down and someone to replace. But let's see what they do on this 4th and 5.
Peterman now in the gun here. Looking towards his left. Does he have an option? He's got Legman and barely overthrows him right there. He had it open.
Oh,
but Peterman just unable to find it right there as they turn it over on downs, Alejandro.
That is exactly what we needed, and that's exactly what I just mentioned. Building off of the short route. You notice how much the DBs came up on that out route right below it, and it allowed Legman to just get right behind the defense. It worked perfectly. It was exactly how you wanted it, and then that's just Peterman needing to hit that. A big thing that you're taught as a quarterback is when a receiver is that wide open, just don't overthrow him. It's better to underthrow than to overthrow, especially when they're wide open like that. Let him try to catch it and still take it far.
As Andrade looking out wide, as he's got his man, number 23 right there. Tyson Lundring already getting involved very early in this game. The backup slot receiver for the Cal Lutheran Kingsmen. And it's going to be interesting seeing how Cal Lutheran responds after that rough first opening drive.
Gives them momentum right back. And again, Andrade's pass right there, it goes a little underrated because it's just a short pass, but that was really good because those passes need to be out quick or else the running back is not going to have time to get the extra yards like he did.
Andrade back in the gun once more as this one's going to be handed off. Number 35, Dylan Turner. And it looks like Turner's going to get a bulk of the carries, at least early in this game, over Dante Coxum, who has been mainly the bell cow for the Cal Lutheran Kingsmen. But Turner, after that impressive performance against Laverne 2 weeks ago, seeming to earn the trust of Anthony Lugo in that backfield, Alejandro.
Yeah, and a good job by the Chapman Panthers stopping the run there. You want to make sure Cal Lu's run game doesn't work like it's really been all season. Turn them into a one-note offense. Then you could just pin your ears back and play for the pass. Get Andrade off his base.
Andrade going to take the snap here. 2nd and 8. And just barely overfiring right there to number 15, Connor Matzke.
It was there. That was a great timing on the throw, just inaccurate. If he hit him more so on the chest, not only that, he probably could have split those two defenders and get a lot more yardage than just a dive for maybe a couple.
And now 3rd and 8, 3rd and long for the Cal Lutheran Kingsmen. And it just feels like they haven't been really able to get anything going. And that's sort of a product of that run game that's averaging less than 80 rush yards per game. They rely very much on Andrade's passing ability. And right now it just doesn't seem to be clicking for Anthony Lugo's side.
And I mean, Chapman showing blitz and blitzing. This is a great play. I love this.
And picked off once more. Number 6. Colin Keefe, one of our other key players right there. He had 2 picks last weekend that earned him that Defensive Player of the Week, and he's already back on track, right on cue. Colin Keefe coming in.
Stopping the run allows the defense to send the heat and pin their ears back. That's exactly what they just did. And Colin Keefe, we just mentioned, you know, the SCIAC Defensive Player of the Week this past week, already making a huge impact, but that's what it does. When you stop the run, and then you can make it obvious, especially on 3rd and longs, you know they're going to pass. You can bring blitzes like that, and especially when you have Andrade, who's just been throwing short passes this whole game, when you put a little bit of pressure on him, and then you take away his short options, plays like that happen.
Absolutely, and I mean, Colin Keefe and Headley jumping those routes right there. Those balls sort of lofted by Andrade as Peterman retakes the field. But it's going to be very interesting seeing how Andrade and this Cal Lutheran offense readjust to that. And Peterman trying to look deep there, it looks like for number 85, Nate Krautwald. But that one batted down.
I mean, they noticed the safety's up. It looked like a 4 verticals route. He was going to try to hit the seam right there. And for the Chapman Panthers in this offensive possession, you have to score something. Because if your defense gets 2 turnovers and gives you a short field and you don't get nothing, it's almost as it's more demoralizing to you than it is to Cal Lu. Because then Cal Lu could feel in a situation where, like, okay, we gave up a couple of interceptions, but we're still tied. We got this.
Absolutely, and I mean,
you don't want to give them that hope.
With Chapman now on offense near midfield, Peterman going to take the snap. Woods putting on some nifty footwork right there as he's able to get a few. Going to push the chains slightly forward right there. And once more, Nolan Jackson in the middle of that one, already making his presence felt.
All right, 3rd and long here. If I'm the Chapman Panthers, I run a mesh concept. You've been running those track routes over the middle, and you've seen how the linebackers and even the DBs come up quick on those. So you want to have a mesh concept in the front and then a double layer right behind them to replace where the linebackers come from.
3 receivers out to Peterman's left, 1 at the top of your screen right there. Isaiah Woods in the backfield. 4-man rush right now for the Cal Lutheran Kingsmen. What can Peterman come up with here as they're going to run it with Isaiah Woods, and Woods is able to break through. Woods making it all the way down to the 10-yard line, taken down right there by number 24, Adam Herrera. The big chase down play, but Isaiah Woods, 3rd down and 8. What a gutsy play call there from Bob Owens.
A gutsy play call. But that's what happens when you have a good run defense. You can trust a 3rd and 8 run like that, especially when you got the O-line blocking to that extent. They cleared that second layer, and that's exactly what we're talking about. When you got guys with speed like Woods, if you get to those linebackers in the second level, you make it a foot race. And Woods, most of the time, except on that occasion, will mostly win it.
And you love the hustle there from Luke Peterman right there. The last one down to block for Woods as they're going to hand it back off to him and rewarding him for that big run. Isaiah Woods into the end zone as he grabs that knee a little bit hobbled on the play, but nonetheless, Chapman take the 6 points early in this game as they continue to be on fire on offense right there.
Look at Kenny Korber's block right there. That was perfect. A little chop block right there. Took the D lineman out of the play, allowed the cutback lane for Woods to happen. And now, once the run game gets going like that, it's just in rhythm.
And Byrel through the uprights and in to give Chapman a 7-0 lead. What a drive there for the Chapman Panthers, and that's got to feel great for Luke Peterman's confidence. Now, up 7-0, your defense has already intercepted the ball twice. Chapman's got to feel real good heading into this next few drives.
Oh, and it's not just that, but it's demoralizing for Cal Lutheran right now. You've had 2 turnovers, and you had a fortunate turn of events, especially with the flag, to allow yourself to stop the offense once. But now Chapman figuring out that run game and finding they're in the zone right now, especially with the run blocking scheme. As you can see just on those 2 plays, how well of a gap Isaiah Woods had, not just for room to go straight up into the hole, but cutback lanes as well.
And I mean,
so for Cal Lu, it's just right now you want to find something, and it's going to be a little tough, especially when the run game can't get working and help your quarterback get back in rhythm.
I mean, you look at Andrade, who's been incredible in the passing game so far this season. Only 3 interceptions given up in those first 6 games, already 2 tonight, and we still have 5 minutes left in this first quarter. What do you think that mindset has to be for him heading into this next drive, Alejandro?
Oh, I mean, he has to be a little hesitant, you would imagine. Now, when he does these short passes, especially because the last 2 interceptions were on a screenplay and another one on just a simple out route, you have to wonder how in rhythm he's going to be with his throws, like timing-wise. 1-step drop and fire. You could probably see that he might hesitate a little bit, especially on some throws. But what you want to do for Cal Lu to help Andrade get in rhythm is actually establish the run game. You want to see positive plays happen, especially if you're a quarterback. Then you can kind of start getting a feel back for it. But right now with Cal Lutherans, run game. That looks a little far-sighted.
And now at the 25-yard line, and you look at those 2 interceptions already for Andrade, it allows Chapman's defense to really
The clock
drop
has been
back.
reset to 5:03. First down.
And a quick clock reset right there by the referees, and it allows the Chapman defense to only rush 3, dropping more players back into coverage, and it makes it just harder for Andrade to get that pass game going as he's being chased down in the pocket, evades the receiver, and gets it off to his guy, Cade Kadum, out on the near side.
As I just mentioned, the hesitance on that, because there was a receiver open. But again, because of the 2 interceptions that just happened, you see him do his one-step drop like he's normally doing, but then hesitates on the throw. Has a little bit of second guessing. Now, it's a great job by Andrade to continue that play, though, with his movement in the pocket. But if you're the Chapman Panthers, you love to see that, because that means your 4-man rush can get there if he holds the ball continuously like that.
Now 2nd and 1 here, and they're going to hand this one off to Turner. And Turner, actually that was number 3 right there, able to get through, picking up the first down. And for Cal Lutheran, it's just getting that run game going early in this game, putting some pressure on that Chapman front to commit more resources in the box. And hopefully for them, that opens things up downfield for a guy like Kadum, your top receiver, who right now is being covered one-on-one on the outside by Rennick Martin.
Looks like man coverage too, with a high safety that's really close up.
Screenplay right here. A big block and cut up field. That's number 23, Tyson Lundring, already getting involved immediately, especially on those short pass plays, and he's making plays off of those right there.
Swings and screens right now. That's a lot of the Cal Lutheran offense. What that could set up is a lot of plays off of that. We had a great play where you fake the screen and the main blocker holds it for a second and breaks off. Those are plays that Chapman needs to continuously be aware of as Cal Lutheran keeps running these screens. Now again, look at the low safety here.
Relaying the play, low safety for Chapman. Going to be a pass here, looking towards the outside. And what a grab right there, number 15, Connor Matzke, one of the tallest players on this Cal Lutheran side, and he uses all of that length to pull that one in. What a play on the sideline right there, Alejandro.
Somebody check this man's gloves. What a catch. And again, that's what you get when you have such a low safety and it's one-on-one coverage. You basically, football's a game of matchups. You can basically say, my man's better than yours, and I'm going to take him on this route. And that's exactly what they did there.
Andrade back in the gun right there. Going to hand this one off as it's going to be bounced to the outside. Number 3, but Cade Jordan making the chase down tackle. It looked like there was daylight out there for number 6, actually. That's Cade Kadum to make that play. But Cade Jordan, been one of the best players for Chapman all season long, continuing to play with his hair on fire.
It's so nice to have a guy like Cade Jordan when he can have speed off the edge, but also strength. Gives you so much variety for the defense. Look at, I mean, just the way they play Cade Jordan right now. They're showing that he goes up for pressure, then they move him back for coverage. You don't know what to expect for Jordan. Again, worth mentioning, one-on-one on that right side and the short side, and the safety's favoring that left, and so they take the right.
And Andrade going to fire this one to Kadum over the middle of the field. Tackled made there by Colin Keefe. But Andrade seemingly settling into this one, making some good decisions here after that sort of rocky start. 2 picks already for Chapman. But if CLU can come out of this one tied in this first quarter, 7-7, they'd be feeling really good about their chances.
Oh, they'll be feeling great going into the second quarter. Again, Andrade's just doing what is like taught perfectly for a quarterback. Take what they give you. Take the matchups. There's height differences right now between the receivers and the DBs. Andrade wants to take advantage of that, especially in man.
Andrade, play action right there. Going to fire it out. Another bubble screen as that one's going to get a pickup of a few more. Right there, number 8, Tyler Shimamura, able to pick that one up. And it seems like they're really favoring that play, whether it's Shimamura or Lundring in the slot right there. That little bubble screen, it seems to be working really well for the Kingsmen.
Well, just look at the way they're playing off of the slot. There's so much room for number 8 out of that slot right now as Keefe is playing way back. So basically, if you're going to keep giving me that, I'll take it. But now keep doing a good job playing up a little bit, showing that that won't be there.
Andrade looking right, looking for the end zone, and Kadum unable to get that one right there. Number 3, Cooper Allers on the coverage.
Well, it was a good throw by Andrade. I love the back shoulder idea. Put it in the perfect spot where only his receiver could get it. And really, I just think that slipped through his hands. That was a perfect pass. And taking the matchups again, it's one-on-one throughout this whole thing. The Chapman Panthers playing a lot of man coverage with one high safeties.
Now 3rd and 5, 3 receivers to Andrade's right. Can they convert? Can they put some pressure on this Chapman offense to make Luke Peterman make plays? Looking for Kadum, and that one's gonna be incomplete once more. Looking for Kadum, but Cooper Allers on the coverage once more.
Oh, that was fantastic coverage. There was no room. Cooper made sure he was right tight on his hip, and again, that's what I love for Chapman with making blitzes right there. Putting Andrade in uncomfortable situations, and again, it forced that throw to go a little errant and high.
Absolutely, as the field goal unit gonna come out for this one for the Cal Lutheran Kingsmen, as it's gonna be Daniel Burgos to take this one, trying to cut this lead down to 4. From about the 25-yard line, pins it down, and right through, chipping away at this lead, as Chapman now up 7-3. A relatively successful drive for Cal Lutheran, considering how those opening 2 drives started. But now, nearly a quarter into the game, Chapman has to feel really good about how they've started in this first one.
Definitely, the Panthers feel very happy with where they're at right now. But for Cal Lu, getting a little weight off of their back there, you know, it gives them a little bit of breathing room. Okay, we got points on the board. It's all right. We're finding our groove a little bit. Let's see what the defense can do. Now, again, this is where Cal Lu, if they can, this is probably going to be the first time that Chapman's going to have to make a drive all the way back from their own territory. So we're going to really see what this Chapman Panthers offense is made of, as they're going to have to drive a full length. And if Cal Lu can get a stop here, watch out.
Absolutely, and as you see, 4 different speedsters back there for Chapman. And as you mentioned, probably the first drive within Chapman territory, deep in Chapman territory, that Luke Peterman will have to start. But we'll see if Chapman's return team can actually make that a positive thing for their new quarterback, as Burgos is going to take this one after Cal Lutheran's first score.
I mean, Chapman has an interesting method to their kickoff returns, and it's more so the idea of we're going to go less on size and more on speed. So no matter where you kick it off to, there's someone who can return this ball back. But then again, you do sacrifice having some more efficient blockers out there.
Burgos going to kick this one off all the way to the goal line, as this one's going to be brought out right here, making some moves, and all the way out to about the 33-yard line right there. Not terrible starting position for Luke Peterman on this 3rd drive with just under 30 seconds left in this first quarter.
And that's what you have, man. Speed kills. When you can have a return man who could just knife through the tight gaps that are there in a kick return, I mean, that helps you. That turns a kick return that probably could have got stopped there at the 20, the 25, to now ahead of the 30.
Absolutely, and as you're seeing, it feels like a whole different play style. You had Nathaniel Espinoza, who really favored those deep passes, set so many single-season passing records last season. He gets injured early in this one. Tyler Pacheco, very much a running quarterback, probably the most efficient runner on this team when he was healthy, as that one going to be fired out to the side, number 18 right there. Jason Bruce unable to corral that one in. And then you bring in Luke Peterman, who really favors those short passes. We saw that a lot at practice this week, throwing checkdowns to the tight ends, to the running backs. And we'll see how Bob Owens approaches the offensive game plan from this one, and whether he'll rely on Luke Peterman's arm to really get this offense going, or if he'll continue to strive off the success of this run game, which put up 315 rushing yards last weekend against Pomona.
Well, I have to say right now, he is definitely trusting Peterman with these throws.
As Ursino able to break through and going to be wrapped out of bounds right there after a gain of several.
Good job slithering through the gap there, turning what could have been just stop for a loss or just getting to the line of scrimmage Turn that into a big positive, a gain of about 5. And now again, 3rd and short. You want to get to 3rd and 5 and below.
And it feels like it's almost opposite day.
This is the end of the first quarter.
As that's the end of the first quarter right there, and it almost feels like opposite day with the Chapman Panthers electing to pass a lot on those first downs and then running it on those second downs. We saw on 3rd and 9, rushing it on a big play for Isaiah Woods to get that big gain and put the Chapman Panthers in that scoring position where they got that touchdown. And obviously, a great first quarter for the Chapman Panthers.
And again, like what you just mentioned, that unpredictability, that helps Luke. Bob Owens is doing a great job helping Luke. He's making sure that the defense isn't able to predict what the play is going to be next. And, you know, it allows Luke to have a little bit more time when he drops back to pass. It allows the run game to get a little bit flowing. So that's exactly the perfect way to handle this situation right now.
Absolutely. An efficient game from the offense. A great start for the defense. As we're going to throw it down to our very own sideline reporter, Orion Powell, with an update in this one.
Thank you so much, guys. This has been a defensive game for the Panthers. Those 2 picks from Keefe and number 1 were crucial in getting Chapman's first score, and they were crucial to holding Cal Lu to a field goal to keep this game close. Back to you guys.
And obviously great points there by Orion. And the Chapman defense, those 2 interceptions really setting up Luke Peterman very well early in this first quarter.
Yeah, and it allowed him to easily be able to establish the run as well as the pass.
Undoubtedly, as Chapman going to restart this second quarter now. As that one going to be rushed up by Gio Orsino, who's able to get this one to move the chains right there.
And, you know, as I kind of look at the stat sheets here, worth mentioning, I mean, Isaiah Woods right now with 58 yards rushing already and a 9.7 average. That is exactly what you want.
I mean, he just continues to build game after game, especially after that performance of 134 yards last weekend. 58 in the first quarter, unprecedented, especially against a good Cal Lutheran side, Alejandro.
See, a good handoff there, good gain of 5. If I'm Luke, you got to start looking to kind of keep those as well. Remember, Luke is a new quarterback. There's not much footage on him besides maybe just a half of football. That is exactly what you want for a new quarterback. I mean, that's exactly that's kind of what's already in general for most new quarterbacks. For Luke, you got to make that an advantage. They don't know you. They don't know what your habits, your ticks, what makes you click.
And obviously a very new quarterback. Its first collegiate start, his first action, as that one's blown up right there by number 1 for Cal Lutheran, Arturo Orta, who's been the field general all season long for the Kingsmen. But as you said, Luke Peterman, not much film about him. He only had 1 year starting varsity in high school where he led his team to the conference title. But as you can see right there, Orta just blowing that one up. Isaiah Woods nowhere to go.
I mean, that was an immediate run commitment from the defensive backs right there. They expected run, and they guessed right. They played a little bit of a guessing game there, and now puts them in a 3rd and long. Let's see what Peterman's all about.
Peterman gonna take the snap, looking, and he's got his man right there. Number 18, Bruce. Been a popular target early in this one for Peterman.
Shout out to the entire O-line. That was one of the cleanest pockets I've seen in the entire game from both sides. Peterman had time. It allowed him to sit, make his read, even have a couple hitch steps in there to then throw to the curl route that gave him the first down.
And I mean, Chapman has been excellent. This offensive line, who had allowed so many sacks last season, only 5 through 5 games this year. They've done fantastic protecting all 3 of their quarterbacks. Is Peterman looking deep, and he has his man right there, number 12. And this one gonna be ruled down on contact.
Well, in college, whenever you catch a pass and you go to the ground, you're immediately down where you fall. So he was down the second he caught it. But yes, using the play action to help open up your pass game. Play action on first down right there. The defense commits to the run. It allows the post and really the whole entire middle of the field to be open, and gave Peterman time to make that throw. And a good job by Peterman. He's wide open. It's okay if you underthrow him, because you know what? You got the completion, and you're inside the 10.
And just a perfect play there to Tawny, as this one stuffed up immediately by that dominant Kingsman D line right there. Isaiah Woods nowhere to go on that one. But again, just a perfect play by Peterman to find Tawny wide open, and a great route by Tawny, just getting the separation from the receiver. And if he throws that a little bit more online, we could be seeing a 14-3 game right now, Alejandro.
Definitely. I mean, a great route by Tawny, just getting out of the stem quick. But again, Peterman, he's still got to get rhythm with these guys. This is only his first week really playing with these receivers.
Peterman gonna hand this one off. Woods trying to power his way through as he's gonna get down to about the 3-yard line after an extra push right there.
That was a fantastic push. And now you put yourself in a great goal line situation. I believe the sticks are still up too. You can still get yourself a first down.
And now going into 3rd and short here for the Panthers. This seems like territory that Bob Owens has really favored the run so far in this one. And Isaiah Woods has continued to impress. We'll see if he goes back to him on this one.
Again, what you can do here is a play action. See if the linebackers are playing up a little bit. Play action, get them to come up, have a slant, replace.
Peterman handing this one off to Woods. And Woods, it looks like he's able to at least get the first down right there. We will see what the officials rule on this one.
Let's see. Chains are down. First down looks to be the call. Oh, now you have yourself a whole 4 downs to play with.
And Chapman continuing to thrive in the red zone so far this year. After that last drive, now 10-14 in red zone scores, 9-14 for touchdowns. We'll see if they're able to capitalize it once more. Again to Woods, and Woods able to pick up a yard or so. And that one actually on 4th and 1, it looked like, but it looks like he's able to get this one.
That was a first down. The scoreboard, unfortunately, was not up to date. Shout out to Chapman's technology. But one thing I have to mention on that is that was clearly going to be a run. You set up in the jumbo package. You have extra linemen out there. The whole stadium knows that's a run. But the way you can really deceive someone is doing play actions off of those. Again, you're doing the stack. There's number 62 who's lined up a lineman behind the O-line as well. This is a jumbo set. Counter off of this. Pull, which they just did.
And that one into the end zone. Gio Ursino with the touchdown for the Chapman Panthers. Finding the pay dirt, and Gio Ursino continuing to impress, his 3rd rushing touchdown of the year. And that offensive line, Alejandro, continuing to be outstanding up front in the trenches.
Lane 40. He was the extra lineman that was out there, set up in the jumbo to the right. And as I mentioned, try to counter off of it, which is exactly what they did. They show a handoff. Gio shows a first move going to the right. The pulling guard comes to the left, and he leads the charge for Gio to get in.
And Ken Viral slotting that one through to give Chapman an 11-point lead here early in this 2nd quarter. And I mean, Luke Peterman just continuing to be efficient, relying on that run game. And when you have to rely on a guy like Isaiah Woods, who's been as hot as ever, that's not a bad recipe for success.
Not at all. Not at all. 14-3 is the score right now. And again, if the Chapman Panthers get another stop here, this is going to start getting into really uh-oh territory for Cal Lou and the Kingsmen. So if on the Chapman Panthers here, you saw how Cal Lou worked very well on their drive. You know, they did a lot of short passes, then they took a lot of the matchups that happened with the man coverage. So if on the Chapman Panthers defensively, you want to do disguise coverages. Don't always run man, don't always run zone. Maybe you can do half man, half zone on other sides. Run some cover 6, cover 9, cover 4. Switch up your defensive coverages. Make the quarterback struggle a little bit to truly read what's going to happen on the play.
And Tapia going to launch this one high into the night sky as it's going to be returned here. Obviously, Cal Lutheran's so dangerous on these kick returns, and they're able to get to about the 35-yard line right there. A great return by number 12. to put them in excellent position for JP Andrade to get back on track.
You know what I have to say is what makes Cal such a good kick return team is it seems like they have a strategy for wherever the ball is going to get kicked. If it's to the right, then they have their formation set up. If it's to the left, then they know how to adjust. They don't have a predetermined kick return route. They adjust it based on the kick, and it works so perfectly. Now here we go with the 1st and 10. Chapman, what could really catch him off guard is a lot of blitzes here.
Andrade gonna throw it down in the short to Matsky, and Matsky pushing off a guy for a gain. It looks like it'll move the chains.
Well, I did mention a blitz. They blitzed, but they had the perfect play for that. Sometimes it's just one of those moments where it's like, they got us. Because, you know, the perfect counter for a blitz is a play action, because when the people see run, you have the linebackers storming in, they're going to go straight for the running back, and it gives the quarterback a lot more time to make those passes, especially on boot plays. But here we go again. Look at the DB on the far side over there. Manned up, eyes completely on the receiver.
Heavily pressed up right there, as this one's going to be a run. And Chapman coming in with the cavalry to push Dylan Turner back right there.
Now, if I'm Cal I'm looking over there and seeing that one-on-one coverage, and I'm making a note to my offensive coordinator right now, letting him know that they're continuously doing that, especially on far sides. Now, great job for the Panthers defense. They're still making Cal a one-note team. Only passes. Look at the way they penetrate up inside. And again, that's where the second level, when you have guys like Tariq who can come up into that second level, it makes a whole much bigger difference.
Now Andrade back in the shotgun. Slightly muffs it, and he gets swallowed right there. Evan Grieve mixed with Kay Jordan, along with some others. And Andrade just unable to evade the pressure after that slight bobble of the snap. And Evan Grieve just applying the pressure.
This could not have gone worse for Cal. Not only does he bobble a snap, it's also the fact that the Chapman Panthers run a blitz, and then also, not only after that, Cal ran a deep shot. They wanted to take that solo coverage that we mentioned earlier. He was gone on a streak down the field, had leverage, but the bobble snap and the pressure from the blitz didn't allow Andrade enough time to make his three-step drop to make that throw. Now you put yourself in a 3rd and long.
3rd and long, trying to get this one out, and he's able to get through all the way out, and that is Cade Kadum able to break through. What a play by Kadum to pick up the 1st down, and what a relief for Andrade and head coach Anthony Lugo. That could have been a disaster if they had given the ball back and Chapman another opportunity to put themselves up even more.
Tackling is so important, especially in those moments, and Kadum taking a little bit of his anger, because Kadum was angry on that last play. He was the one who was open on the streak on that 2nd down. You could tell just the true determination to run that.
Andrade gonna hand this one off. And Turner able to get through for a gain of about 8 right there. And Cal Lutheran starting to find a little bit of that rhythm like they did during that last drive. We'll see if Andrade is able to really piece this together. And now on a 2nd and short, if you were Anthony Lugo, how would you drop this play to best suit your quarterback's play style?
Right now, they are working on your turf if you're Cal. You got them guessing right now. It's run, it's pass, it's play action. This is a perfect time, especially with the way the DBs are playing up. Play off of a bubble screen. Try to see what deception you can bring.
Looking short, and he's got Kadum once more. And Kadum continuing to go to work, that time on Seth Holbrook, the junior.
And that's where you take advantage of those one-on-one man coverages, because in the end, no matter how good a DB is, it's such a hard position to play because you have to stick with the receiver who knows where they're going. Meanwhile, you have no idea where the play is going to be going in the end. He sold the streak perfectly, came back on the curl route. Now you have a 1st and 10. You have full control of this situation. I think a play action here can work great, especially with the way they're showing blitz.
And now Cal Lutheran back in the red zone. Andrade passing once more. Got Matsky and unable to get anywhere going.
That's the kind of
that
swarm
one.
you want.
Kyle Sieben on the coverage right there.
That's the swarm you want right there. Because they messed up on that screen route. You know, it was only 2 guys who were able to swarm out there in time. You want them to close out the run lanes. You want someone up in the front. You want someone to cover the sidelines. You want to make sure every corner is covered, especially cutbacks as well. Those are where the dangerous runs can happen on short passes and runs.
Now just under 4.5 minutes left in this second quarter. Can Andrade cook something up right here and get Cal Lutheran back in this game? He's going to hand it off. Dylan Turner making his way down the field. And we got an injury.
Timeout for injury. Timeout for
Number
injury.
92, it looks like, on that defensive line. Hobbled up on that play. And let's hope that he's okay. He looks in like a lot of pain.
That's the last thing you want to see if you're a Chapman Panther right now. Now, worth mentioning again for Cal Lu in that situation, those are the runs you do want. Those 4-yard runs, even that you'll take, as it keeps you chipping away, but it keeps the run game itself dangerous. Now, the worst thing to see right here for the Chapman Panthers is a possible loss of a D lineman.
But I mean, obviously, Cal Lutheran not able to get much going so far in this game. But it seems like on this drive, and the past 2 drives, in fact, they've really been able to turn it around. If you're the Chapman defensive coordinator, obviously this injury not looking great. Hopefully he's able to come in and
it's not a great sign
stay in this game.
off and
But Alejandro, if you're the defensive coordinator for the Panthers right now, what are you telling your team in that huddle?
well, the biggest thing right now is tackling is the huge emphasis, as Isaiah Munoz is able to be helped off by his teammates. But the biggest emphasis is tackling. They've been getting away with a lot of arm tackles that the defense has been able to, that Cal Lu has just been able to fight off of. And if you're the Chapman Panthers as well, swarm to the ball. It's being a little too lackadaisical, a little bit too much waiting and allowing the runner to kind of take control of the situation. You want to push the pressure, force him to make a move. But now here you are in a 3rd and short situation with the run game working. If you're Cal Lu, it's almost you almost just want to run this ball.
Obviously wishing the best for Munoz. But now Cal Lutheran down near the 10-yard line. They're going to hand this one off. And Dylan Turner trying to push that one.
That's what we're talking about. Swarm to the ball. Quick reaction. And that's, again, Tariquez is just, we're just talking about when you have linebackers who are quick like that, make reads, able to find the gap that the running back is going to go through. Able to get the first contact, prevent any extra yards. And now it's a 4th and 1 situation. I like the decision here from Cal Lu to actually go for this.
Absolutely.
This is the drive you need a touchdown.
And I mean, 4th and 1, such a massive play. And I mean, if you're looking here, obviously Chapman loading up the box. Do you run this one if you're Cal Lutheran, Alejandro?
I do. I trust the run game.
And that one blown up. K. Jordan, how do you do? As he feasts on that one. Nowhere to go there for Dylan Turner. And K. Jordan continues to be all over the place. Just breaks through that tackle right there. And nowhere to go.
K. Jordan dominated Max Thorne on that play. And K. Jordan is a much smaller guy than the average D lineman. But that speed is insane. And again, just because you trust the run doesn't mean it's always going to work. And for the Chapman Panthers, I love the emphasis. They knew it was a run. They just went all out, full zero blitz, and allowed their quickest man, K. Jordan, to get a matchup that he wanted one-on-one. And with K. Jordan's speed able to beat through that, he's able to catch the running back even before he got a yard close to the line of scrimmage.
And I mean, with that hair right there, just very reminiscent of an old Troy Polamalu, as Luke Peterman going to take this one for his first design QB run of the night. Going to get near that first down marker.
I like that call. Good QB design run, allow it to switch up a little bit, especially for the run schemes. Just don't run those too often. You don't want to get Peterman too banged up, but it's a good way to kind of keep the defense guessing with the run schemes, especially because Chapman always runs out of the gun. it could be easy for them to catch on to run plays. So having the quarterback be an option as well is
Absolutely.
great.
I mean, a great pass defense from this Cal Lutheran side. 20 sacks on the season already. But they're not that great in the rush defense, and you're seeing guys like Gio Orsino and Isaiah Woods take advantage of that early in this game.
Another good run for a first down. Now you have about 2 minutes and 30 seconds left.
Derek Fuentes getting in on the action right there.
Now, if you're Chapman right now, you're okay letting the clock run a little bit because you also don't want to give Cal Lu enough time to make any plays themselves. But if you start seeing yourself start to chip off some real big positive plays, start getting a little quicker on the ball. Start calling hurry up, timeouts, use them. Especially because of the fact that, you know, you have an opportunity here to really extend this lead.
Peterman out wide to number 4, James Kroll, who just will be slightly short of that first round right there.
So the Chapman Panthers, again, we're testing the waters, seeing how the drive would go, if it's something that they wanted to commit to or more so just chip away time off the clock. After seeing that right there, let's go all out. But a use of a timeout here by, or let's see what the ref is stopping the play
Please
for.
set the game clock to 1:57. 1:57 on the snap.
Had me scared for a second. I thought Bob Owens used a timeout there. I was like, that's not what we need to do, Bob. Stop it. But again, great job getting out of bounds. And now if you're the Chapman Panthers, let's open up this offense. It's a minute 57. You want to score here, even if it's just a field goal. You have the leading score for Chapman. That's a free play. If it was a false start going to get called, it is. He knows it.
Looking deep and barely unable to get right there. They wanted a pass interference on that one, but regardless, that free play as Ligman,
And
the intended target.
That's where it's hard for the DB to make a play, just because of the fact he's actually in good coverage.
Number 97 defense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
He was in great coverage there, and it's just the fact that the pass is underthrown that it could have set him up for a pass interference. I actually agree with the no call there, but what I do agree with the call is the offsides, and a great job by Peterman recognizing that and taking a shot.
Hunter Hall, the one getting flagged right there for that jump before the snap.
Now, this is a good chance to test out Peterman. It's a hurry-up situation offense. You're going to basically spread out the offense and allow him to work, make his quick reads.
Peterman going for it all. He's got it!
That is a throw.
What a throw by Peterman! Finding once more Jason Bruce. Have a day, young man, as he is able to haul that one in and perfectly placed into the basket for Bruce.
I feel like every Peterman's great throw has to be commended to that O-line. Look at that pocket, allowing him to have time, looked the safety off a little to the left, and it gave the one-on-one coverage down on the post to the right side. Now, if you're the Chapman Panthers here, it's okay to run the ball. Time is on your side now. You have almost too much time.
Quentin Biebel able to get a few right there. But going back to that play, out to Bruce, and we haven't seen much of Amir Adams. I'm not sure if he's not playing tonight, resting up or whatnot, but Bruce, his backup, has been instrumental so far, and it seems like Peterman really likes to find him so far in this game.
Great
and that one.
And up mentality. And Peterman, on that throw, that was a fantastic throw. Just immediately stepping up into his pocket, able to have a good base and fire that one. That was a perfect spiral on the post. And great job by Chapman running down this clock now to 40 seconds.
Peterman looking, corner end zone, touchdown Panthers! Biebel in for the touchdown. Beautiful play action there from the Panthers as they now go up 20-3, waiting on Biral's extra point. But what a perfect first half for the Panthers, who have really put it on this excellent Cal Lutheran defense, who just have no answers right now for the new kid.
Literally the perfect first half for the Chapman Panthers. A 21-3 lead. You're going to get the ball back at halftime. And you know what? I see you a little bit, Peterman. I see a little bit of the fire out of the arm right there. Peterman is doing a great job making the throws he has to make. But not just that, what I love that the Panthers are doing is they're not limiting the offense for Peterman. They're letting him air it out. They've taken 2 deep shots that have worked in their favor. They have opened up this field, And just because it's a new quarterback, just because it's a new group of receivers as well that he has to kind of get used to, they didn't feel like, okay, we have to kind of maybe shorten up on the deep passes. No, let's take some shots. Let's get unpredictable. Let's take risks. And these risks have paid off. Sometimes you got to be a gambling man.
And now, with 38 seconds left on the clock in this first half, it's going to be imperative for these Panthers to not let Cal Lutheran get some great field position to try and put up a field goal or even potentially score a touchdown late in this first half. Owen Tapia to kick this one off for the third time tonight off of a score.
Well, I bet he loves having his name called for kickoffs instead of punts instead. It's a much more fun situation for Tapia.
Tapia readying this one towards the end zone. As this one going to be returned here by number 14. And this one out to the side, knocked down near the 30-yard line.
They got it figured out. I mean, their kick returns got it. They got room. It's 25 and above so far with all these kick returns, and they're taking out the end zone. Most teams, especially in college, would just be okay with taking that to the end zone and starting at the 25. But Cal Lu knows how good their kickoff team is.
And now Chapman, 30 seconds left to defend in this first half. As Andrade trying to get something going, trying to get his team going, trying to get himself going late in this first half. But with guys like Kay Jordan and Alex Terricles blowing up the middle of that pocket as he's gonna get sacked once more. Number 91 right there. What a play by Ty Hartigan, the senior.
Cal Lutheran.
Getting through, and he's loving it right now.
I mean, look at the immediate pressure. The swim move, it was really from both guys. Really, I mean, coming out of it, that was a two-man sack play right there. And that was Evan Grieve who really got the big play from the DN spot. And that's what you can do. When you force a team to kind of give up the run and go straight to the pass, oh, that's a D lineman's dream right there. They're loving this. They could go in a four-man rush. They could bring the blitz. They can put the pressure on Andrade, and Andrade, who's a little still phased out from those short passes with the 2 interceptions he's thrown. I mean, this is literally ripe for a big sack game for a lot of these D linemen right now.
And right now, you can just see it in his eyes. He's trying to connect with his receivers. But when you bring guys like Jordan and Terricles to join that massive front for the Panthers with guys like Evan Grieve up there blowing up the middle, there's just no time, it feels like, for Andrade to really get anything going, despite the man coverage, where he's had a few open receivers like Kadem and Matsky. Now with 28 seconds left in this first half, Andrade gonna look over the middle, and he's got his guy right there. Gain a few, trying to get back to that initial line of scrimmage right there.
I have to say, I don't like the idea right now from Cal Lu to be running plays like this right now. What you're really just doing right now, it's a third and extremely long. You're going to put yourself at more risk to just get negative plays.
Alex Terricles coming in, joins the sack party, as that's going to conclude this first half of action.
This is the end of the second quarter.
As Chapman continues to excite Alejandro.
It's unbelievable right now what they're accomplishing on the defensive end. Terricles is just able to quickly get into the backfield. Notice how he immediately dominated the running back to get right into that position. And that's exactly what I just said. I didn't want Cal Lu, if I'm a Cal Lutheran coach, to really go for anything there, because what you're doing is you're just putting yourself in a situation to get your quarterback hurt, or in a situation where you have a negative play that can actually give Chapman the ball in a good situation there.
Absolutely, and it just feels like we're calling the same guys over and over again, but at the end of the day, the same victim, JP Andrade, continuing to be the victim of that Chapman front, and Chapman continuing to just put it on these opposing quarterbacks. 10 points through their last 10 quarters of action. They are absolutely on fire, and Luke Peterman, a very efficient first half, capping it off with that touchdown to Quentin Bible at the end of the first half.
I mean, you can't ask for a better half for Luke. I mean, it was still low on the completion percentage part, but what is great for Luke Peterman was the fact that he was able to establish some deep throws. 2 big deep throws on their touchdown drives were huge to the efficiency for the Chapman Panthers. Not to mention as well, the running game got going. Isaiah Woods, Gio Orsino, that running back tandem, that's exactly what they needed in that first half. It allowed the whole offense to get in rhythm, and the biggest thing is we keep calling defense, right? Short field, interception on the first drive, interception on the second drive. Peterman's able to start from the 50. He's able to start from from the 45 of, Cal Lu. So it's just giving him that situation, giving the whole offense an opportunity to work from a short field like that, fantastic.
Absolutely, and I mean, Foothill's finest, just managing this game all the way to a 21-3 lead right here. And as you can see, our halftime stats, 99 rushing yards for Chapman already, continuing on their streak. 7 rushing yards for Cal Lutheran, who had -5 last week, as well as Chapman holding -30 to Pomona last week, right on cue. An 80% third down conversion rate for Chapman, right what they needed. 40% for Cal Lutheran, and as you can see, a possession of time, 16 minutes and 10 seconds to 13 minutes and 50 seconds. Chapman just dominant in all phases of this game, Alejandro.
Again, I mean, we're just going to say, couldn't have been a more perfect half. That third down conversions, exactly what they needed. Rush game, exactly what they needed. Pressure on the quarterback, exactly what they needed. They got it all.
Absolutely, and I mean, you look at the defense, you look at the offense, you look at the special teams, they are stopping that Cal Lutheran special teams, even though some of those returns a little bit longer than Bob Owens would have liked. But at the end of the day, it hasn't harmed them because of how dominant that defense has been. And we're gonna throw it back down to our sideline reporter, Orion Powell, who's gonna give us our halftime update.
Thanks, guys. What a half. That defense, once, as I said earlier, that defense has kept Chapman alive and kept the offense, the Chapman offense, on the field to allow them to get those great scores. Now, I have an update on an injured Chapman player, number 92, Isaiah Munoz, and unfortunately, it does not look good. He is still sitting on the bench. He was not able to follow his team back into the locker room, and he is still sitting on the medic table with ice wrapped around his ankle. Back to you guys.
Not a great sign for Munoz, a big loss on that defensive front. But at the end of the day, the Chapman line has been able to hold despite his absence. And as we take a look at some of these stats, Luke Peterman with 123 yards and a touchdown. He's just been incredible so far in his first collegiate start.
Yes, 100%. I mean, this is his first collegiate start. This is the first time he's really putting film out there on tape. A fantastic job. I mean, as you look at these first half highlights, it was the early interception at first. They finally put pressure on the run, put pressure on the short passing game, and it turned in their favor. Great plays from two of their best defensive players. And then this is what it works. It's just getting that run game going. Look at the blocking. The clear cutback lane that was designed from the start for Woods. Fantastic. He banged up his knee there a little bit, but luckily was able to get back up. And then this is the blitzing right here. Pressure right there. And, I mean, that was a fantastic throw on that, but I still love what Chapman was doing even on that play, putting pressure on.
And Ursino getting in right there. And I mean, you just look at how efficient this offense has been, how dominant this defense has been against JP Andrade and that Cal Lutheran offense. And I mean, the way that Chapman is currently playing, Bob Owens has to be very pleased. It just feels like Andrade has zero time to get anything going for the Cal Lutheran Kingsmen.
Yeah, and if you're Cal Lu, you're going to come into the second half. You have to establish the run, but you have to do it in a certain way. You have to run counters. You have to run sweeps. You can't keep running up in the middle. You can't keep doing trap plays or nothing like that.
Absolutely. And we're now going to actually toss it down to the field as there's the Hall of Fame presentation for...
Well, we were going to have the Hall of Fame presentation, but what we have first right now is I actually had the opportunity to sit with Ken Byro at practice. Ken Byro is the leading record holder for most field goals made at Chapman, as well as the leading scorer. So I just had to get an opportunity to talk with him right after practice. What's up? I'm Alejandro from CSBN. I had the opportunity to sit down with Ken Byro after one of his practices. Ken, how you doing today?
Good. Good practice.
Good practice?
Yep.
Living the grind, right?
Yeah, grinding it out. Last season here.
So, yes, speaking of that, being your last season here in your senior year, how's that kind of been going into the, your final season?
I think it's been good. I don't know. I've got a lot of experience pretty much.
Yeah.
Just overall. starting as a freshman.
Yeah.
So
No, that's
I
awesome.
think it's been good.
And then since you started as a freshman, you put yourself on pace with your great performance to break the field goal record, which you did this year.
Yep.
What was breaking a record like that? How's that feel?
Honestly, well, to be honest with you, it wasn't the first one I've broken.
Yes.
So I didn't even know that I broke the record at the time.
Yeah.
I didn't even hear it on the PA. Just everyone on the sideline was congratulating me.
Yeah.
And I was confused.
So how's that feel like, you know, when your teammates are kind of the ones who are able to kind of let you know about that record, and obviously how much
yeah.
they care about the record for you?
It felt good, honestly. Always having the support of my team was great.
Do you watch football, like NFL football,
yeah.
or pro football? So is there any kickers that you're kind of inspired by, or you looked up to even growing up? Or?
Yeah, I mean, as a Packers fan, I always saw Mason Crosby.
Yeah.
He recently, his contract didn't get extended, so he's free agent right now, but
Yeah.
he's a great one.
But a Packers legend, exactly. So
Oh, yeah.
that's awesome to live off of. And, you know, just any big takeaways that you've had from playing the game of football, you know, for a long time?
Well, I think just always grinding it out, like sticking with it is great.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, football just kept my mind just focused on one thing pretty much.
Yeah.
And it's also been good with time management as well as like taking classes.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Look, I want to thank you for taking time to sit
course.
down with us after your practice, and I know you got a lot of time, midterm season, but you took the time. I want to thank you for doing
Of course.
that. You have a great one.
You too.
That's been it.
Viral, a Hall of Fame type of player for Chapman. As we look at the Hall of Fame,
over 1,000 points in his career while helping usher Chapman
as
in
they
the
get
Division III era.
announced into
He
this
led the
new
Panthers
class
to a
of Hall
turnaround
of
season as a
Famers for Chapman
sophomore, which
University.
kicked off a string of 23
And I mean,
consecutive winning
right now,
seasons.
the Hall of Fame unveiling with
From the
Chapman
class
is
of
playing at a Hall of
1997,
Fame level right now, Alejandro.
Curto.
And as you can see, Toby Curto
Please welcome
played
to
on the
Hall of
basketball
Fame,
team,
Michael
graduated in
Leahy.
'97. An incredible player, Michael Leahy, a product of your very own football Chapman Panthers from 2015,
Michael led Chapman to his
getting
first
inducted right here.
championship in 2014. He led all of Division III in completion
we have to
percentage in
mention, right,
2013.
We're going to see Ken Byro up here soon at some point. I was privileged to have the honor to pull him aside for practice. You know, a great guy, hard-working student, puts in a lot of time into his craft. And so it was a real privilege to be able to just sit by and be able to talk with him after practice. I know he's such a busy guy, and he's also not a man who's keen on too many interviews, so him taking the time out of practice was really meant a lot.
Was the NCAA Division III championship team. The 2003 Chapman baseball team.
Absolutely, as we now have the 2003 national champions in baseball, a team that was so dominant throughout their tenure of that season, as they get inducted into this one.
Well, I mean, you want to talk about a dominant sport for the Chapman Panthers. It's baseball. Just wait till baseball season comes around. I know you're a freshman, Nico. You're a little new to the game, but baseball is been where it's at for Chapman. Champions in 2003, in recent memory as well, in the modern day, they have been dominant.
And the head coach, Tom Torres-Chuck.
As the rest of these inductees get their recognition from this Panther prideful crowd who have showed up for their Chapman Panthers during this Hall of Fame game. And right now, there's no better way that you could ask for this game to go, and a fitting way to end this first half, inducting all these great Chapman athletes of the past.
Was also on the roster. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2003 NCAA Division III champions, the Chapman Panthers.
And you know, just a random thought here. My mind is still stuck in, like, we're close to 2010, but 2003 is so long ago. I'm sorry, I'm just feeling a little nostalgic and old right now.
Hall of Famers will now head to Great Victory Way to reveal their plaque, forever bronzing their names into Chapman history.
And a great way to end this first half with the Hall of Fame unveiling of the class of 2023. We're going to have a little bit of a halftime break right here, but be right back on CSBN for all the action in this contest between Chapman and Cal Lutheran.
Asking why is he here like I shouldn't be. I've been on on grind since Otto. 10,000 hours the motto. They see the bag is coming out and flocking to me like I won the lotto. Dancing with the devil, there's no recital. I'm killing competition, ain't no revival. I shoot it to kill it, I'm aiming for vitals. I'm showing no mercy when facing my rivals. Snakes in the grass, they getting exposed. I know they be lurking, I'm watching them close. Acting like friends, but really they foes. Saw they be scheming and said adios. Get it, don't mindset. Ay, back with a vengeance, back on the grinds, back to the business. Ay, God is my witness, they watching my moves like shows they binging. Ay, best keep distance, all of my haters send best of wishes. I get to the bag with the quickness, no I don't need no assistance, no. Yeah, no playing it safe. I said let's get it, you say not today. What can I say? You ain't gon' go for it, get out the way. Got no time to waste. Can't be with me if you're not at my pace. You're not at my level, you're not in my race. One foot on the gas, I'm pushing the brakes. Dancing with the devil, there's no recital. I'm killing competition, ain't no revival. I shoot it to kill it, I'm aiming for vitals. I'm showing no mercy when facing my rivals. Snakes in the grass, they getting exposed. I know they be lurking, I'm watching them close. Acting like friends, but really they foes. Saw they be scheming and said adios. Yeah, I gotta get it. Get it, don't mindset. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I gotta get it, don't mindset. I gotta get it, don't mindset.
best shot, still missed us. I will never give up. If I bleed it out, I'm gonna stitch up. 10 toes down, never switch up. Took your best shot, still missed us. Took your best shot, still missed us. Took your best shot, still missed us. Took your best shot, still missed us.
You are in the middle of a game. Adrenaline coursing through your body. And you are calling the shots. Feel the power as you control the game's narrative. From commentator to camera virtuoso, replay wizard to unyielding director. There is no better experience than being in the moment. Challenge your limits and embrace the electrifying rush that comes with the crowd's roar. You never know the epic plays you will capture and the masterpiece you could make. You could be an amateur learning on the fly or a pro wanting to expand your skills. You will always fit in. And what better place to broadcast your skills than in sports? Never knowing what is coming next and always coming across something new. Join the Chapman Sports Broadcasting Network and experience the thrill of life.
And we welcome you back to this wonderful matchup between the Chapman Panthers and Cal Lutheran Kingsmen. I'm Nico Schwegler alongside Alejandro Flores once more. And so far, Alejandro, what a matchup we've seen. Chapman coming out firing 21-3 in that first half.
I mean, Chapman playing into the idea of a revenge game. They truly look like a team who wants it more right now. They came off of a loss to the Kingsmen last time, but now they're coming in. They know they're in their own home turf, and they know they have the advantage, and they're taking advantage of that.
Undoubtedly, and right now, Chapman just firing on all cylinders. Peterman coming in as the new quarterback. He has been so efficient in this offense, and as well as the defense. The defense just continuing to excite, giving JP Andrade nowhere to go. As our second half kicks off right here, as that one's going to be taken out to about the 23-yard line. As Luke Peterman gonna kick off this second half, trying to put Chapman up even more in this one.
No, I know this may not seem like it, up 21-3, but this is a very important drive for the Panthers right now. You get the first drive of the half, and you get to set the tone for the second half. Which the last thing you want to do is get a quick 3-and-out or a quick stop for Cal Lu, and then allow them to kind of gain momentum and the mentality that this is a new half for them. You want to establish that nothing has changed, and you're going to keep that dominance going.
Peterman going to start out on the gun right here. And he's going to take this one for a run. Some good blocks up front, but ultimately not much there to gain, as it looks like Arturo Orta getting the tackle right there, pushing Peterman out of bounds. But once again, this offensive line, the offensive line never gets enough talk or recognition as it does. But so far in this game, they have been masterful, creating the holes for those running backs and giving Luke Peterman the time he needs to really adjust to this offense and be as efficient as he's been.
Yeah, I know it didn't show on that play right there, but the whole O-line in the first half has been like the team MVP, the entire O-line. They're blocking for the run. The pass protection has been nothing short of extraordinary in that first half. Let's see if they can maintain it.
And this one going to be handed off to Woods, and Woods able to gain a few right there. Going to be a 3rd and medium for Chapman on this opening drive of the second half.
Okay, now my favorite start to the drive is going conservative with the 2 run plays right off the bat. Because now you set yourself up for the 3rd and long situation, and you really want to convert this. You don't want to give Cal Lutheran anything to hang on. You don't want the Kingsmen to have anything to really say like, okay, yeah, we're back in this. You want to break their spirits on this drive. Right here, this is again where we're going to have to mention the old line is going to have to be fantastic in this pass protection. They've given Peterman a lot of time. Can they do so again?
Peterman Gonna try and run this one, and he just gets absolutely clobbered right there. Not really sure what Chapman was thinking on that one.
Well, I have to say, I don't think that was designed to be a run because the receivers were the biggest tell on that. They were gone. They were running routes. They had an out route and a streak on both sides, and Peterman just seemed a little confused. Almost like he was expecting to do a handoff here, and that's the last thing you want to do is just give up a sack, a quick 3 and out, and now here you go. The Kingsmen are going to get the ball quick into the second half.
And Tapia going deep with that one. A fair catch right there near the 40-yard line by number 12 right there.
It's good position now for the Kingsmen to get their drive started. 12:47. I mean, this game, while the score is 21-3, this game is far from over. Especially in college football, when the clock stops after every first down, these halves can go by so long, and it's still a lot of time for Andrade to possibly mount a comeback.
And Andrade,
keep the pressure on.
He's been a guy who can slice and dice defenses so far through the season. Gonna open with a run play right here. Turner having to cut this one back, but absolutely swallowed right there behind the line of scrimmage. And Chapman's defense continuing to pick up their quarterback, but it's going to be imperative for Chapman to really get out of the gates here and get a scoring drive early. They've been outscored 45-17. Through 5 games, they've only scored 17 points in the second half, Alejandro. Yeah. What do you think they need to do to be able to get back into that flow and really continue their success from the first half?
Well, it's quite literally the opposite of what happened on that first drive, which is being conservative. Just because you're ahead doesn't mean you change the offense or anything. You keep that pressure on. And for the defense right now, what I love that I'm seeing right now is they're still keeping up what they did in the first half, which is shutting down the run game and then putting pressure on Andrade to make quick throws. Now here you go again, a 3rd and long situation. I'd put pressure on Andrade again. I'd force him to get that ball out quick, not give him time to have any routes develop past the sticks.
Now 3rd and 9 after the catch by Anthony Valencia, the tight end, coming in for Jaden Klein after that early injury in this one. Lundring in motion. Andrade looking deep, and he's almost got his guy, Cade Kadum. Rennick Martin once more on the coverage, and he's a guy who has had 6 pass breakups heading into this one, a guy that it seems like teams want to challenge, but he has been up to the challenge so far throughout this season.
Oh, that was fantastic coverage. In a one-on-one situation, to be alone with a receiver like that, that was great coverage. And the Chapman Panthers defense doing a fantastic job here. They just cut the momentum away from the Kingsmen, forcing them now to punt.
Amir Adams now back as the returner. We haven't seen much of him in the receiving game. Chapman's top receiver before last game, averaging over 100 yards, had 3 receptions for 14 against Pomona. And it feels like now without Pacheco or Espinoza, and Adams hasn't been able to really get going. We got a little bit of a scuffle right there. Down on the near side.
And again, as we mentioned, this is 2 teams that have already faced each other. This is a rematch of 2 teams that really don't like each other. So you're going to have moments like that. Now, I was very curious on that fair catch call by Amir. A guy with speed like that had a room. He could have taken that pass to the 40 at least. So I have to wonder if Amir Adams, if there's something a little wrong with him because he's avoiding the contact or something. Especially because a receiver that talented, you just wouldn't expect him to be on the sidelines like he is right now. But right now, I mean, you still have to give credit to the Chapman receivers who are out there. They have done a great job stepping up.
Absolutely, as this one's going to be handed off to Woods right there. Going to get a bit of a push, and it's getting a little bit chippy out there between this defense and this offense. But right now, Chapman's still in cruise control as Gio Orsino will come in for Isaiah Woods. And obviously, going back to that point about Amir Adams, definitely not a sight you want to see. You want to have one of your best receivers out there. But so far, these receivers, especially Jason Bruce, have really stepped up to the call.
Yeah, it's quite interesting seeing where Amir is right now on the sidelines, just kind of right behind the coach. But right now, this hasn't stopped the Chapman Panthers offense.
Going to be handed off once more, and Orsino able to cut that one upfield before being taken down. But a first down there for Gio Orsino. And for a second, it looked like he might have been gone for even more there, Alejandro.
A fantastic gap was created right up the middle. It was a trap play. Gave Orsino just enough room to slither by and get the first. Now here you go. Again, you've ran the ball on every single play of this second half so far. First and 10, this is a perfect opportunity to play action. Keep the defense on their heels.
And this one, a little bit of a bobble on the snap. And Peterman taking a little bit of a collision right there. It's good to see that he's okay.
His second time doing a muffled snap like that, something you can't afford. And again, it was going to be another run play, but either way, even if he got the handoff off, the Kingsmen were there into the backfield. They were going to shut that play down. That's exactly why you need to play off of the run. As they're taking a little bit of time to get on the ball. And Peterman, you got to catch those snaps. You have to give your running back the best chance to have a little bit of room to make something out of nothing.
Peterman going to hand this one off to Orsino. Orsino running laterally. He's got the edge before being taken out of bounds right there by Diego Serrano. But Gio Orsino continuing to use that explosiveness to continue to move that pile up for the Panthers.
It's great speed, able to just get to the outside, outrun any sort of DN or D lineman who can make a play like that. That's your thunder right there. That's your thunder to Woods' lightning, and it's fantastic that they're two very different backs. Now here we go on a 3rd and 6 about.
Now a 3rd and
3rd and
5.
5.
We got quite a few O-linemen out there, only 2 receivers. They're going to hand this one off to Orsino, who's absolutely stuffed right there. Arturo Horta coming down the pipe and laying the hammer on that one.
You know, this is another reason why the Panthers they've been absent in that second half. It's plays like that. That's a 3rd and 5. You've been running the entire game. It was an obvious, clear run from the Kingsman side. They were clearly going to run commit on that play. A play action off of that would have been fantastic. You get yards, you continue the drive, and you still get to run down clock. I understand running the football. I truly do. You get to run down clock, you play it safe. But sometimes if you play it too safe, you open up the window of opportunity for a Kingsman team to try to mount a comeback.
That one going to be returned, and it was just great awareness by Orta, realizing that Chapman really trying to part those defensive linemen, just waited for the right moment to strike, and then once he saw that gap, went in like a badger. And now JP Andrade once more getting another chance to try and lead a drive here for Cal Lutheran. Just needs to get something going on offense, but with the way that Chapman's defense has been playing, it just seems like there's nowhere to go. And that one's picked off! Reddick Martin, his first INT of the season, and he has been one of the most deserving players on this Chapman defense, matched up in coverage with number 18 right there. And he just perfectly jumps that route, and it's a present right into the hands of Martin.
Now that is a poor read right there by Andrade. He tried to get the ball out quick, but I mean, you saw in the replay, the flat was wide open, and a play like that, trying to get too much in one play instead of just chipping away, Andrade has gone away from what was kind of working for the first part of that first half, which was those short passes. So trying to get it all back in one play with a streak down instead when the flat is wide open, that just cuts your comeback chances right there in half.
And Andrade matching his season total of interceptions, all in the same game. Chapman just all over the opposing quarterback right now, as Orsino's going to take that one up for a gain of a few.
And this is where the Chapman defense has helped the Chapman offense so well. Giving them a short field, but also that now, because Chapman has been running the ball a lot, especially in the second half so far, that Cal Lu defense is tired. They wanted a rest. They thought they were probably going to get a little bit of a drive, a chance for a breather. Now they're right back on the field. They're going to start wearing them down, especially with how well the Chapman Panthers defense is playing, and maybe that's Bob Owens' idea.
Woods gonna power this one for another few. And right now, this is a big third down for this Chapman offense. Obviously, the defense continuing to hold strong. But when you look at how this Chapman offense has played, especially throughout the season in the second half, you have to wonder how Bob Owens approaches this play on 3rd and short and giving his new quarterback the best possible play to succeed and put them on the board, which is something that they've really struggled to do in the latter stages of these games.
Look, you don't want another 3 and out in this half right now, especially after a turnover. You want to change it up here. Play action. Do something. Give yourself a chance.
Gonna be handed off to Woods, and Woods cutting it up into the end zone! What a play by Isaiah Woods!
But you know
his
what?
second of the game.
I'll gladly be incorrect. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? That is a fantastic run and a fantastic show of patience. You can see the CSBN crew down there.
Shout out to all our crew at CSBN. Isaiah Woods, it looked like he might have gotten stopped right there, but just able to find the gap as he's able to punch through that hole and walks right into the end zone, practically untouched, it felt like. Ken Byrell going for the extra point as that one's gonna sail through. Chapman now up 28-3 over these Cal Lutheran Kingsmen. What a way to respond, especially after that 24-21 loss 3 weeks ago, Alejandro.
Well, like I mentioned, I was not a big fan of the run, but you know what? You can prove me wrong when you have runs like that, and especially with the way Chapman has just been doing a fantastic job establishing cutback lanes. Like we just saw for Woods there. It allowed him to have time to be patient, let the lane develop, cut back into the middle a little bit more, and find a straight path to the end zone. Right now, there's a matchup going on big time right now in this game. It's the Chapman O-line versus the Cal Lu defense. And Chapman O-line is winning by a drastic margin right now. Just haymaker after haymaker being thrown at that Cal Lu defense.
And I mean, you take a look at the stats, 7 rushing yards for the Cal Lutheran Kingsmen, 147 for Chapman, and we're only a few minutes into this third quarter. They'll continue to pile that on, and especially now up 28-3, you'd have to expect that they're just trying to run out this clock, not let JP Andrade and this Cal Lutheran offense really get anything going, which they haven't been able to do all night, Alejandro.
At all. They have another good return. Again, they're 25 and above with those, but looking at that stat line, that's an absurd difference in rushing yards, 147-7. It looks like a Niners versus Rams sort of stat line right there, I have to say. But that's the biggest thing, is when you can establish a run game like that, and then your defense is giving you the short field continuously, it's just working in tandem. They're ping-ponging off each other right now. It's defense, short field, run game, here we go, take off more clock. Defense, here we go again, and let's see what they can do. They're up 28-3 right now. Now, Cal Lu is in full throw situation right here, and we saw what happened when they have to pin their ears back and throw.
And a new quarterback in for the Kingsmen, James McNamara, unable to complete that one. JP Andrade, seemingly, at least for now, looks to be pulled after that third interception of the game. McNamara has gotten some play timing this year, but now down 28-3. A lot of pressure on this young man's shoulders to try and lead this comeback.
It's interesting to go in with a new quarterback like this. And again, you know, it might have to be how they just read Andrade on the sidelines. He did. You could see the look in his eyes. He was a little phased. So they have to wonder if this new quarterback can come in and just kind of get the rhythm offense going.
And another big hit right there from Roman Harden. Once more on number 87, Anthony Valencia. Harden, the freshman, laying down the boomstick a few times tonight, showing why Bob Owens has trusted him in that role, especially in his first year on the team.
Chapman right now has shown their ability to adapt. I mean, they have cut down on those short throws, quick to the ball. Not very much the opposite of what was shown in those first two drives when Cal Lu had the ball.
And now another blitz, looking short, as that one's gonna be incomplete right there. Looking for Matsky. And this Chapman defense just unrelenting. Playmakers everywhere, Alejandro.
They got him locked up in prison right now and threw away the key. It is straight up dominance from the Chapman Panthers on all fronts. Linebackers are there to stop the run. D-line putting pressure on. And the DBs are quick to the short passes, knowing that the QB is looking to throw quick with how much pressure that D-line is getting. That's why it's just so good when everything starts from that front seven. And when the front seven's working, your DBs have a much easier time as well.
Amir Adams once more back on the punt return. We'll see if he's able to take this one out.
I'm very curious because, again, this is very returnable for him.
And he's going to take this one out for a few yards. He's going to get hit hard out of bounds right there. And on the past few of these punts by Cal Lutheran, getting a little chippy out there near the sidelines. But nonetheless, Amir Adams looks to be okay, as it looks like he's mainly being used as a punt returner. That is one of his roles, but obviously wide receiver 1 has been his mainstay throughout this season. But I mean, you look at this Chapman Panthers offense, despite the absence of Amir Adams, despite the fact that you've lost 2 quarterbacks through this season with 2 completely different play styles, and then you bring in a guy like Luke Peterman, who is absolutely perfectly suited to face this Cal Lutheran defense, a defense that has a front that can get to your quarterback. Those short passes have neutralized that completely. And I mean, that third quarterback of the season, almost like Brock Purdy with the 49ers last season. Peterman looking towards the left. Gio Orsino putting a move on a man right there.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, coming in, showing confidence. And again, with the absence of Amir Adams, it's allowed the awakening of another in Bruce. Bruce right now has had 2 of those deep ball catches. An incredible play so far that we've seen from Bruce, number 18, who we haven't really called his name all season. And that's that next man up mentality. Being able to have a guy who could step up into that receiver 1 position and make an instant impact.
Peterman with Orsino in the backfield, gonna hand it off here. Gio Orsino has a lane, and he's able to get the first down right there. One of our key players right there, Gio Orsino, the multi-talented running back for the Chapman Panthers, continuing to provide that punch alongside Isaiah Woods, just giving that old reliable for Luke Peterman in his first collegiate start. And Luke Peterman just seems to be feeding off that immensely right now.
Oh, I mean, it's now at a point where the run game is just having their way. That Kingsman defense is tired, especially on the D-line right now. They're getting punished. And as an O-lineman, you love this, because O-linemen don't like to be in pass coverage often. That's when you put them on their back and you have to push, they have to kind of pin themselves back. When it's a run game like this.
And Orsino to the house. Gio Orsino breaks off another massive run, but a flag on the play right there.
Number 56, offense.
And a great play right there.
First down.
Unfortunately negated by the holding penalty on number 56. Kenny Kerber, the senior guard. Just an unfortunate event there for the Chapman Panthers, but right now you're just seeing everything's clicking for the Chapman offense right now.
Okay, I mean, outside of the hold there, everything else, just complete dominance. It's one-on-one matchups that the Chapman O-line is completely winning. Usually most time when you have run game, you have guys who are double teaming and then shifting up into the front. They're just winning the one-on-one matchups right now. It is utter dominance. And I imagine they're just going to go right back to it, but right now, here you go with the throw. Smart.
Beeble
feel short.
Able to get back towards that initial line of scrimmage for Chapman.
And that's what I like. Mix in a couple pass plays here. Help out the run game. Make it show that it's not like you're going to fully commit to the run game. Keep them a little bit on their heels, especially with the way the linebackers are going to start moving up here. But again, they're just running out the clock. We're already 3 minutes into this. 3 minutes left in this third quarter. And they're letting the clock run. They've been letting the play clock go all the way down smartly. They know they're in control of this game.
Just feeding off your playmakers right now, the way that the Dolphins have all season, the way the Niners have all season, the way that all these top teams in the NFL. Chapman now looks on course for this 3-game win streak. And right now, up 28-3 in this third quarter. And it's a perfect sign because now you can give some of your younger guys a little bit of reps, especially if you get a touchdown here, going up 35-3. All of a sudden, Bob Owens gets to experiment, kind of test some of these guys. And now with Cal Lutheran, with their second string quarterback in the game, give some of these guys the reps and allow your starters to rest up for a big game next week against Claremont Mudscripts.
Definitely. And first of all, that was a great run stop finally. That must have felt good for the Kingsmen. They just fully ran commit on that. But as you mentioned, right here as this play happens,
Peterman gonna look towards the sideline, and he's got his man once more. Quentin Beeble able to haul that one in. But as you were saying, Alejandra.
Well, as I was saying, now you get a chance to get Ken Byro a couple opportunities here to get his field goal in and help him get rhythm. This is a good chance. Look at the Chapman bench. Way more players than we've seen it get for any other team. You know Chapman wants to take advantage of the amount of players that they have, find some possible diamonds in the rough, especially if they're going to make this late playoff push here. You know, they have an away game next week, and then they have the one at home. Good kick by Ken. You know, I'm glad to say I know that guy now. Haven't talked to him, but again, perfect as always for Ken. And now a 31-3 lead. This is the perfect chance right here for the Chapman Panthers.
I mean, viral is always Kenough in our world. And I mean, just adding on to that record total, Ken Viral making it a 31-3 game right here. And Chapman just in full cruise control with less than a minute and a half left in this third quarter.
And I mean, now also for Cal Lu, this is huge loss that they might take here, most likely going to take, because now this moves them behind the Panthers. They're both tied 2-2 in the conference, and Cal Lu had the opportunity as we have Orion on the sidelines.
Thanks, guys. Just wanted to give a quick update on number 92, Isaiah Munoz. He is officially up and walking on crutches as we go to the kickoff. Back to you guys.
Thank you so much for that update, Orion. Obviously, never a great sign to see a guy as important as Isaiah Munoz get injured like that. We wish him a speedy recovery, as this kick return is going to be cut out once more. Flags flying in from all over.
And the refs definitely saw something there. I mean, let's wait for the refs call first. And then
Holding, number 87 of the return team. 10-yard penalty. First down, Cal Lutheran.
First of all, unfortunate holding call there, because that's going to be the first time now Cal Lu's going to be working from way behind the 20. But also worth mentioning, when we're talking about Isaiah Munoz and being on crutches and being hurt, you know, that's one of your starters. And in a team that we just talked about, when we're looking to the future and the playoff push that the Chapman Panthers are trying to make here, that's just not something you want to see, especially a Chapman team that's already dealt with so many injuries on both sides of the ball. I mean, they already lost their starting running back in the first game of the season. Then they lose 2 of their starting quarterbacks.
Stuffed right there.
Like
and that ball, is that ball out? Does Chapman have it? And that's going to be Chapman football once more. Their 4th takeaway of the game, their 8th over these past 2 games. What a play by the Chapman defense once more. It feels like we can't get enough of this Panthers defense. And that one, Dylan Turner just getting absolutely schlumped by Alex Tariquez. He has been everywhere in the backfield, in pass coverage. Alex Tariquez and Zach Collins right there coming up with the forced fumble. And right now, Cal Lutheran, it feels like they may just want to be headed back towards Thousand Oaks after this third quarter.
Just stop already. They're already down. Oh my goodness. This is one of the best defensive performances I've seen from the Chapman defense ever. Unbelievable what they are doing right now. And again, this is a lot of thanks to the running backs and the linebackers for the Chapman Panthers.
Gonna get that one out to Legman. Gonna be hit there by number 21, John Moore.
I mean, we have to talk about Alex Tariquez right now. He's had an incredible, now a forced fumble on his stat line as well. Not to mention leading the team in tackles and also having 1 solo sack in this game. This is an incredible performance. 8 total tackles, 2 assisted tackles, and the tackle for lost yards is now at 5 with the forced fumble. It's an insane performance that we're seeing from this linebacker group of the Chapman Panthers.
Tariqua is just manning down that linebacker core, which has been so good all season long. I mean, you got the likes of Tariqua's, Cade Jordan, Hunter Headley, and Kyle Sieben in there, just so dominant throughout that second level. And I mean, it just gives Bob Owens and the rest of those defensive coaches a plethora of options that they can rely on. Almost like what you see with the Ravens with Roquan Smith, Patrick Queen, the Niners with Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw.
Yeah, I mean, we're making a lot of NFL references here, but those are valid references. When you talk about the importance of a linebacker duo, but not just a linebacker duo itself, but one that can vary. One that has a linebacker who kind of specializes in one field compared to the other. When you have a guy like Tariquez who can focus more on run stoppage and being able to put pressure on the quarterback, and then you have another linebacker like Headley who's able to be an incredible coverage linebacker. It's nothing short of magnificent, and it builds so great for the defense. And I mean, you've seen it so far. I mean, both of them, Headley having an interception, then you have Tariquez who's just doing his thing on defense.
I mean, you got Tariquez, you got Cade Jordan as well, who's just been everywhere. Headley with the interception to go along with guys like Colin Keefe and Rennick Martin getting their interceptions in that secondary. And I mean, it's just been so impressive to see what this Chapman defense has been able to do all night. And I mean, this Cal Lutheran offense and defense has no idea what hit them right there.
I mean, suffocating. Absolutely suffocating performance from this defense right now. Taking the life out of the Kingsmen.
Luke Peterman still in this game, looking for the end zone, unable to hit Biebel there for his second touchdown of the game.
I like the attempt there, though. Trying to see if he can find some rhythm with some of his receivers. Now we're going to allow Ken to get another field goal opportunity here.
But I mean, you look at some of these stats through this game, Chapman just controlling the ground game as Ken Byrell's going to come out once more for another field goal, trying to make this a 34-3 lead for the Chapman Panthers.
We all have a little bit of Ken in us, but this Ken right here is a field goal record holder.
And that one's blocked right there. And as we mentioned, this Cal Lutheran special teams definitely one of the strong suits of this Kingsman side. And they showed it right there. Could that be a spark for a potential comeback? Obviously down 28 right now. But at the end of the day, 14:50 left. We've seen crazier things happen, notably in a Super Bowl, by the way, a few years ago.
But the thing is even in that Super Bowl, they had to score in the third quarter as well. They did no impact on their score in that third quarter. So what you're really getting into now is miracle territory. It'd have to be scoring drive that happens in a minute, maybe, to even conceive the possibility of this happening right now. But the Chapman Panthers defense, and especially the way Cal Lu's running their offense, shows no sign of doing that.
And this one going to be thrown out once more to Tyson Lundring. Got off to a hot start. We haven't called his name in a while. As I mean, the Kingsmen just not able to get much going as of recently. And a lot of that's to do to the time of possession, 25 minutes and 40 seconds to 19 minutes and 20 seconds in favor of Chapman through those first three quarters. And I mean, you have to rely on the run game right there. 32 rush attempts for Chapman, 158 yards, 14 rush attempts for Cal Lutheran. Guess how many? 7 rushing yards. I mean, they're going to try and add to that here.
They did exactly what they set out to do. They did exactly what they set out to do. The Chapman Panthers knew if we can take advantage of the Kingsmen poor run defense, which they did perfectly, and then knew if they could just keep the Kingsmen run game poor, like it has been most of the season, they'd have advantage. Look at the pressure again.
And that one slightly overshot over the hands of Lundring. Gonna bring up.
That's the danger of being a quarterback. It's the one thing you fear the most. In the end, as a quarterback, the reason why there's so many rules to protect them is because they are the most vulnerable. When you have a receiver, say, go one-on-one with a DB on the outside and, you know, for a tackle, or a running back up the middle, there's kind of contact and momentum from both ways. But a quarterback, you're sitting still in the pocket, stagnant, just really waiting there just to take the hit. So that's the dangerous part. You have to be a little brave when you're a quarterback.
McNamara gonna run this one. Puts a juke on a man. Gonna be tackled there by 3 Chapman players. But James McNamara trying to get something going for the Cal Lutheran Kingsmen, that time with his legs.
Would it be crazy to say that's their first down of the second half?
That is an insane stat right there.
Yep. Again, that just shows how good this Chapman Panthers defense has been in both halves. Look at that.
And right there, number 41, Luke Smith, able to get there. And as you're seeing now, Bob Owens feeling pretty content with how his defense is played, allowing some of those backups to get their reps in, resting some of those starters for that massive game against CMS next weekend.
Credit to Luke Smith. I mean, this guy I've already seen, he's just been in this one drive, has already made a huge impact, put the huge pressure on the quarterback in the first down on the last set of 3 downs, and now look at him making an impact in the passing game as well. This is where you find your diamonds in the rough, the future of the team.
McNamara looking deep. Get a pump fake, actually, go towards that short left side. And that one gonna be gained there by Tyler Shimamura.
Now that's a problem for McNamara right there is, again, you're in such a late situation. They tried to run the fake of a bubble screen where they had the defenders blocking and then shoot off for a deeper route, which is, you know, kind of what they should have been doing earlier. But McNamara is looking for the deep route. In the end, the swing route's right there. You got to take it. You can't get it all back in one play. Had he get into him sooner, it would have been a much bigger game.
Chapman trying to come up with the stuff. And does he have it right there on that 3rd and 1?
I don't know, Nico. That might be a little short.
But it looks like they are moving the chains there on the far side. It looks like that'll be a fresh new set of downs there.
I mean, talking about making it interesting, though. That's there's only 4 people rushing on that play, and the D-line's still able to make an impact to where he's barely getting half a yard on that play. It was just enough for the first.
And once more, getting home! What a play from the Chapman defense. Number 57, swallowing up McNamara. And right now, Cal Lutheran seeing ghosts out there.
Seeing ghosts indeed. I mean, again, talk about just being able to stop those short routes. It's making them sit there in the pocket just a little bit longer. I've been mentioning it all night. It's just, it's rinsing and repeating itself on these continuous drives.
Once more coming with pressure. Going to get off to Kadum. And Kadum going to be brought down immediately right there. 57 once more on the play.
I'll tell you what, Chapman's defensive players, even the guys coming off of the bench here, just look more motivated. They look hungry. They look ready for this moment.
I mean, new quarterback, same result from the Chapman defense, just sheer dominance in all 3 phases of that defense. And McNamara, just he hasn't thrown 3 interceptions like Andrade, but at the same time hasn't had much impact. But he gets that one off to Kadum right there, down past the 30-yard line of the Chapman Panthers.
And that's not what you want to do if you're Chapman right now in the defense. You should be okay with letting them get those swing routes and those out routes, but nothing really to the second level, because what you want to do is just control the clock. First down, stop the clock. It allows the offense to get in rhythm. You want to kind of play off a little bit, which is what they kind of did there.
And this one going to be handed off again. Now coming down to the final 10 minutes roughly of this game.
And also for the Kingsmen, at that point, just seeing that they're running run plays right now in this current situation kind of shows where their mind is at. They don't have a comeback in mind. I mean, it's 10 minutes left, and they need an absurd amount of plays to go your way.
Once more, down goes McNamara. He just can't escape right now.
It's 4 sacks now on the game, and 2 already from this, you know, from a guy that we really haven't called all season. You know,
number 90 right there.
And Barrymore as well there to assist it. It's just, what a performance from this defense. And now you're 3rd and long. You just don't want them to get anything into the second level again. As I mentioned before, just play short.
That one going to be fired out wide to number 18 right there. As that one's going to be brought in once more.
Maybe that's a little bit too much than what you would have wanted. Now you're making yourself. Looks like he actually. Did he get the first? Looks like he got it. According to the call, it looks like they got the first.
I think this might actually be 4th down from. Actually, no, that's going to be a 1st down right there.
There's be a little confusion on the field there.
McNamara looking left. Going to fire that out wide to number 9 right there on the catch. Just trying to get anything, honestly. Mercy points at this point. 31-3 the score if you're just joining us.
And it's good for Cal-Lu to have a drive like this where they're just trying to see if they can find their way. You know, this is very uncharacteristic of them.
McNamara looking end zone. Unable to come up with that.
But you know what I want to mention, too? We've talked about the front 7 the whole time, but the defensive backs for Chapman have been doing fantastic. Clearly, Chapman felt that they had a matchup advantage going into this game because they are okay with one-on-one press coverage throughout this game. They believe that their guy is better than the one lining up in front of them. So they're okay with just taking those one-on-one situations. And now you go with 3rd and short. The Kingsmen looking for their first touchdown.
And I mean, it was an interesting strategy coming in, knowing you're going against a pass-first type of team with the type of quarterback that Andrade is. As this one's going to be handed off for a 1st down right there. But coming in, knowing that you're going against a pass-first offense, really putting that pressure on your DBs to perform.
Helmet off, number 55. 55 must sit out 1 play.
As one of the Cal Lutheran players lost his helmet on the play, having to be subbed out for this next one.
Yeah, the rule is if a helmet falls off during the play, he has to sub out just to get checked up on real quick.
McNamara, the senior, trying to go to the end zone. He's going to roll out left, looking for an option. He's going to take it himself, and he gets absolutely laid out right there. What a hit on the back of QB.
I'm loving this. It doesn't matter that you're up 31-3. You're still laying out the boomstick on some guys right now. These are guys who want to play. These are guys who want to win right now. I'm loving this. And again, to go back to your previous point about the DBs, trusting the DBs like that, the amount of confidence instills in them is huge. And it's going to be greatly important going into these future games.
McNamara looking to the right, finds the tight end right there. As Valencia is able to get past, as we're going to get a 3rd and goal here.
Fantastic tackle. And they've been doing a great job of not allowing too much yards after the catch for the Kingsmen.
I mean, to your point, that missed tackle on the Kadum big play, the real big play for the Cal Lutheran Kingsmen all game. And ever since then, as you said, just nothing that Chapman has been tolerating after the catch. McNamara going to take this one and run, and he's going to get into the end zone. McNamara able to cut down this lead with just over 7 minutes left as Cal Lutheran trying everything to get back into this game.
Cuts the lead to 21. In the end, though, what a fantastic play this was. You know, despite all the struggles that the Kingsmen have had, this was great blocking, especially from the lead back over to the right side. And, you know, with this new QB in for the Kingsmen, what he provides is a lot more size and ability to fight through contact, which he showed there.
As Burgos is able to fire this one through officially cutting the lead down to 21 with 7 minutes and 7 seconds left in this quarter. An 80-yard drive for Cal Lutheran. 18 plays on that one. Bob Owens has to be happy with the performance, but probably would have wanted to keep Cal Lutheran out of the end zone on that one, Alejandro.
Yes, but if you were going to let Cal Lu score, that's exactly how you want to do it. I mean, you saw that 80 yards, yeah, they drove down the field, but 18 plays. They took up the majority of the whole fourth quarter just to score 7 points. That's exactly how you run it. When you're up like that, when you play defense like that's exactly how you want to execute it. Make them have to chip down the field and make them have to take away so much time just to get 7 points. It's about give and gain. What do you give and what do you gain from something? Yeah, sure, they gave up 7. But what do they gain? They gain the fact that they're now only 7 minutes away from winning this game, and the offense now getting the ball again.
And now Burgos, after that extra point, gonna kick this one off. And if you're Chapman, you have to play mistake-free football. It doesn't necessarily need to be perfect from now on, but at the end of the day, they're gonna go for an onside kick right there, and they're gonna recover that one.
You know, I was just about to mention that the one thing they should have prevented is, especially because Chapman's guys were playing so far back, is an onside kick.
And McNamara, after that drive, gonna put this Chapman defensive unit back out on the field.
Okay, now, if I'm Bob Owens in this situation, you still have a good lead, but I might have put my starters back in for this one. Just because of the fact that you're giving them the ball now at the 50, and you want them to get negative plays here. And, you know, with the starters that you have, it would have been most likely that you could have.
False start. Number 76. Offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
And that's not a negative play that you want if you're the Kingsmen right now. Again, you just got the onside kick. You have 7 minutes left. You want a quick drive here. That's kind of the opposite of what you would have wanted. And then trying to get it all back in one shot there, just unable to.
Pass was intended for Tyson Lundrig. Second down.
And I like the idea there, taking a deep shot. That's kind of what you need. It's what you have to get on those plays. You just got to be accurate with it because he actually did have the man beat there.
And now McNamara dropping back, gonna fire this one to number 8, who's able to break away, hurdles a man, gets past another. What a big play right there by Shimamura.
Well, got the Kingsman sideline active as well. Not only that, but he got out of bounds and he stops the clock. For a split second at least when he got the first down.
But now you're entering miracle territory. Obviously, with that onside kick, Bob Owens going to be prepared for that one next time.
Yes.
And McNamara really having to take some shots now, looking deep as he's going to run this one. And he's got a lane right here. McNamara breaking tackles. Out here like Lamar Jackson. Getting all the way down towards that 10-yard line of Chapman.
Holding. Offense, number 55.
But what a big
10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
That's a demoralizer right there. That's a I mean, you talked about Lamar Jackson. I see Josh Allen right now. They got the same number. And not only that, it's a much more physical runner that we are seeing. Again, we mentioned he's a bigger guy, so he's able to break the arm tackles that the Chapman Panthers are providing to him right now. But that's a demoralizing flag. That was it. That run right there was a huge chunk play. You're saving time. You're moving down the field. And then you got to move 10 yards back. That hurts. And now the clock is ticking already down to 6 minutes and past. Any hopes that they had quite literally might have just disappeared with that flag.
And McNamara, next play, gets sacked. The 5th one of the game for the Panthers. They've had 9 sacks on the season so far, 5 in this game, already up to 14 on the season now. And I mean, as you said, that demoralizing penalty just continues to pile on to Cal Lutheran right now. And I mean, if you're McNamara, after that incredible run, Josh Allen-esque, as you mentioned, just got to be absolutely devastated with that. And Tariquez getting in there once more. Number 33 also on the play.
Ruling on the field as the runner was down. The runner was down.
Did exactly what anyone would have wanted him to do, and that's putting in your top dogs right there. That is Tariquez right there on a fantastic play. They decided, let's put him back in. We have to stop them dead in their tracks, prevent any sort of hope. They want to snuff it out. Snuff out any sort of hope, delusion that they may have that they can win this game. And the Chapman Panthers did that perfectly on this drive. Now in a third and punt coming up, as I like to call it.
And I mean, instead of being at Chapman's 11-yard line, now back in their own territory on 3rd and 32, that incomplete pass, they're making it 4th down, and they're just gonna elect to punt it. And right now, if you're Chapman, give it to some of your backup running backs and just let them run out the clock. Because at this rate, I feel like Cal Lutheran really just wants to go home, not have their guys get injured, as they're gonna continue fighting for that playoff spot. But right now, the massive impact that this game has had on the playoffs, and Chapman really sending a statement to SCIAC, especially CMS coming up next week. CMS actually winning over Redlands 31-17 earlier this afternoon. That's gonna be a massive matchup. And right now, Chapman just seems on fire. They beat CMS 20-7 2 weeks ago, actually. And going to Claremont, it's gonna be a big test for Bob Owen's side. With the way that they're playing right now, who's to say that they can't go in and beat anyone in this conference?
No, right now, nothing's impossible with how red hot this Chapman Panthers team is. And you know, they've been a good team. They really have. Their record might not have showed it, but remember, their first game, their win was taken away. They were up 24-0 in that game. That's another win on the board right now. It's a different looking record, right? Then they lose the first game at home. It's a home opener. Tough loss, really was. They had it at the very end. It just took a couple more mistakes from the Chapman Panthers team that prevented that loss. And now they lost homecoming by a clear margin. That was a tough loss. But besides that, and then they lose, you know, to the team that they're dominating right now, the Kingsmen, by only 3 points in their home territory. It's been minor plays and just unlucky bad breaks that have hurt this Chapman Panthers record, but it doesn't mean the team is bad or any less good than the record may show. You know, this is a very good Chapman Panthers team, and now they're finally starting to get things their way.
And I mean, you just saw the minor adjustments starting in that game against CMS, the only team at that time that was undefeated in conference and overall. And then to go in there, yes, they only put up 20 points, but holding that offense that was so high-powered with that quarterback to 7 points, just the confidence that it instilled in this team. And then last week, a historic shutout, 21-0, and right now they're up 21 points with a 31-10 lead right here as we approach 3.5 minutes remaining, as it's gonna be 3rd down on this one.
Yeah, and this has been Chapman's best performance of the season so far. This might have unlocked something, because now the defense, it looks to be in almost perfect rhythm. Perfect rhythm. This was one of the best defensive performances I have seen from this Chapman Panthers team, not just in this season, but in seasons before as well. It's just an absolute, utter dominance from the front 7 to the defensive backs. Fueled this win, and now you have a 3rd and short here.
As this one's gonna be handed off once more. And not a bad start for Luke Peterman. Getting the rest in this one is Wade Smith, the sophomore quarterback, the 4th stringer. Coming in, the 4th quarterback of the season for the Chapman Panthers. And this time it's not because of an injury. It's because they've absolutely demolished the brakes off of this Cal Lutheran side, as we're gonna get a punt here from Owen Tapia on 4th and 1. Cool. As you see some of those quarterbacks down there, Nathaniel Espinoza alongside Wade Smith.
Yeah.
But even then, you get someone like Luke Peterman, now a guy that you feel like you can trust. And even then, going against CMS, despite the low sort of activity, and that one's gonna be sailed over. What a punt by Tapia, and that one's gonna be kept out. And what a play by the gunner. And just unrelenting after unrelenting play by this Chapman team, pinning them down to their 1 yard line. We'll see if Chapman's able to add a safety to their tally tonight.
Adam right there with a fantastic play, and that's what you live for as a gunner. Just what an effort right there. What a punt that was to bounce in like that. Also, I have to mention a cool story. Wade Smith, the backup quarterback for the Chapman Panthers, went to San Jose, California, went to Bellarmine, trained in the same area that I trained in, Pro Sports Training. It was the football training program that was down up in the Bay Area. So cool to see another former Pro Sport Training member getting an opportunity to play a little bit here for the Chapman Panthers.
As McNamara really backed up this time. All the way in his end zone. Gonna hand this one off. Gonna find the gap right there for a gain and a good rush right there. However, Chapman, it's just been everything tonight for them.
Everything. And I mean, if you're the Kingsmen right now, even on this drive, you just want to like have something positive to build off of in the next game. Because this a loss like this, where it was complete dominance, such
looking
as this,
deep, and he's gonna catch that one. Does he have both feet? Does he have feet in bounds though? No, he doesn't, as that is gonna be ruled an incomplete pass right there.
It's the opposite of what I was hoping to say for the Kingsmen. When you look at with a loss like this that's so demoralizing, you want to just find positive things to hang on. So far, they really haven't had much. And they're trying to find something in this drive here in a 3rd and short.
McNamara looking short, and it's intercepted! What a play! Number 15, Kyle.
What a play! Oh my goodness!
Flags flying everywhere. The Chapman Panthers do not care whatsoever.
The result of the play is a touchdown. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 0 for Chapman. That is his first unsportsmanlike conduct penalty.
I mean, no sportsmanship for the Hall of Fame CPU right now. That is, come on, a pick 6 with like only a minute left.
Their 4th of the game, their 5th turnover of this one. And right now, Cal Lutheran begging for the Grim Reaper to come in at the end as Ken Byro looks to make this one a 38-10 lead. What a way to cap this one off, Alejandro.
I like the way you put it right now, because a trip with the Grim Reaper right now might be a better reality.
Cal Lutheran has elected to have the penalty enforced on the kickoff.
I mean, that's just absurd. It's just crazy. That's just crazy, because in a moment like this, you're probably thinking Chapman's just going to go conservative and let them gain some yards just so the clock can keep running. And then you have a play like that. That's spirit breaking. Not just for the Kingsmen in this game, but because their spirit's already kind of been broken in this game. This hangs. This can hang on a team. That's the last thing you would have wanted right there if you're a Kingsman moving into the next game. For the Chapman Panthers, they're just riding high on the wave. They're in the surf division right now. They're enjoying themselves.
Genuinely, just such an impressive performance from the Panthers tonight. And when you look at it in terms of the standings, in a must-win game pretty much for both of these teams, obviously Chapman coming in with the 2-game winning streak. And I mean, you had Cal Lutheran 2 weeks ago, they were winning 55-0 during their homecoming against Laverne. They lose a tough one to a very good Redland side, 20-10 last week. This was their chance to come in and get their revenge and really put their imprint on this surf division, trying to compete with CMS for that division crown. It feels like no one's going to catch up to CMS at this rate, being 4-1 in conference. However, you look at the Chapman Panthers now, 3-2 it's going to be in conference. What a way to just stamp their way into the tournament, it feels like.
Oh.
And once you're in the dance, you have a chance.
You have a chance indeed. Now, this puts Chapman in control of their own destiny. They don't require anything else. They don't need losses from other teams, nothing. Chapman just has to do their job, win out, and they're in the playoffs. A situation that, had you said this 2 weeks ago, would have seemed like a fairy tale.
Flag flying there as he's going to get pushed out of bounds. Refs trying to make sure nothing gets out of hand late in this one.
It's on the Kingsmen. It's another demoralizing flag here.
They even got the backup kickoff specialist in here.
Look at them just enjoying themselves on the sideline.
Holding number 86 of the return team. 10-yard penalty, first down, Cal Lutheran.
This is it. This is what the Panthers needed. They got their swagger back. They got their mojo, because right now they are feeling themselves. They took a tough loss to this team in Kingsman territory. A tough loss, losing their starting quarterback Espinoza. Looked like hope was lost, but they knew they had a second chance to get right back on this team. And then for the Kingsmen, this hurts because you just broke the streak. You finally got your first win against the Panthers in 10 years. You know, maybe it could be a turn of fate, a turn of fortune. And then you go into their place and then lose again.
I mean, before that last game 3 weeks ago, Chapman has always had Cal Lutheran's number. Believe it or not, this doesn't seem out of the ordinary. Over those last few matchups, over the past decade, Chapman averaging 41 points against Cal Lutheran. Their biggest win being 65-26 last season here at Wilson Field. Obviously, that loss to Cal Lutheran early in the season definitely had to hurt. But now this one, 28-point lead as we are down to the final minute, as this run is going to be a nice one here for Cal Lutheran. Something to try and hang their hat on. But man, that's going to be a long bus ride back to Thousand Oaks for this Kingsman side.
A long bus ride indeed. And right now, if you're the Chapman Panthers on defense, let's not aim for no pick sixes in this moment right now. Just let the clock run out, 30 seconds left. And it looks like if Cal Lu and the Kingsmen are smart right now, they just run the ball. Don't force any turnovers.
Going to hand this one off again. Going to be met near the line of scrimmage again. And even in the last 20 seconds of this game, Chapman continuing to just pile on the pressure as the clock will seemingly run out. McNamara might try to run another play. I wouldn't say it would be in their best interest, though, as they are just going to let this clock run out. The Chapman Panthers come away with the win, 38-10. What a game on the Hall of Fame night. And that right there was a Hall of Fame type performance from this Chapman Panthers football team. My goodness, Alejandro.
My goodness, indeed. And now the Chapman Panthers are controllers of destiny. They have the full path into the playoffs. They got an away game next week, and then they got their senior night the following week. Win those two games, they're in. Their destiny is in their hands. They did a great job. They knew the importance of this game, and they took control from the very start, from the first turnover on the first drive to then forcing a second one on the second drive, and then just keeping it going. Sacks, pressures, interceptions. Look at the difference. The rushing difference is absurd. 167-15.
I mean, that's just incredible there. And then the passing yards, 229 for Cal Lutheran, 152 for Chapman, but Chapman really didn't even need to do that much passing. They were able to rely on Luke Peterman's efficiency, just got the ball out quickly. 5 touchdowns to 1. What a performance from the Chapman Panthers. And my goodness, if you thought last week was good, 21-0 at Pomona, this one might have been even better. 38-10 is the final score here as these teams shake hands. Cal Lutheran gonna be looking to put this one on the back burner in future weeks. Chapman gonna be partying throughout the night after this one, as we are gonna throw this one down to our very own sideline reporter, Orion Powell, standing with our MVP of the game, Alex Tariquez. Orion?
Am I live? Okay. All right. Thanks, guys. I'm here with Chapman Sports Broadcast Network MVP defense number 45, Alex Tarikas, with an incredible game, 7 tackles. Man, how do you feel?
I feel great just to end the week 1-0. I mean, we took care of what we needed to. Now we just got to learn from this and go into next week with the same mindset.
Yeah, the defense played an incredible game. They are truly what kept Chapman in the running for this game. Yeah. So how are you feeling going against CMS again?
Hey, man, I feel like we're ready. I have total confidence in my team and my defense and my offense and special teams, man. Special teams has been playing a big part in our games. So we just got to keep it up going forward and just, like I said, go 1-0 every week. It's the same thing.
Cool. All right. Thanks, man. Had an incredible game.
Thank you, guys.
And I mean, Alexander Tariq was such a humble guy right there.
I mean, yes, as you mentioned, such a humble guy is Tariq was. But one thing I like that he said, 1-0. They're taking it 1 week at a time. Now, there's 2 things that can happen from a game like this. Whether you get your momentum going and you kind of get your rhythm, or does it get to your head a little too much? But hearing what Tariq said right there, sounds like they're going to take it nice and cool, move into the next week, know what they have to accomplish. And again, it's rematch season. Rematches back and forth now.
Absolutely, and I mean, CMS definitely going to be looking out for revenge. Their only loss of the season coming to Chapman a few weeks ago, and they're definitely going to be out for it. But Chapman, as Tariq said, going to be ready, taking it 1 game at a time, 1 week at a time, and they're going to be trying to extend this winning streak to 4. And as you said, controlling their destiny. That is exactly what Chapman has done over these past 3 weeks, and they have been perfectly situated in the place for them to make the SCIAC playoffs and really give anyone a run for their money.
Yep, as we toss over to the full game highlights from this match, a one-sided matchup. As you can see just off of the first play right there, a great job by Headley to cut off on the short passing game. And this was like a big momentum switch right here. This second interception got the whole Cal Lutheran team in a funk. After that, Andrade could not really get a vision of what was going on. And then you had the other side, Isaiah Woods, the lightning and thunder duo of Chapman's running game. Fantastic in this matchup. Again, this was one of the few good plays that the Kingsmen can hang their hat on.
Natsky with an incredible one-handed grab right there off of that one. But Chapman continuing to pile it on. Gio Orsino joining the party, getting in for the score right there, punching it home for 6. And that one, just one of the many that Chapman continue to put on. This one right before the half, extending their lead to 21-3.
Great throw.
Biebel getting in on the beautiful out route right there.
And you know, I want to mention something to you. You said something great about this end of the game. Luke Peterman didn't have to rely on him to win. You know, they gave him just, he needed to make the plays he needed to make, and did he make them?
Absolutely, and you didn't see those mistakes from him. So now it's going to be even harder for CMS coming into this game. They would have liked from this game to see some of those mishaps from this new quarterback. He played a very efficient game, missed a few throws here and there, but at the end of the day, it's going to be very difficult for them to scout him going into next week, as that was a great play right there from Cal Lutheran, one of the many great plays right there. Mick Namara making the play right there, but actually that one getting picked off. As that concludes our game highlights right there, as we look forward to the future weeks, as Chapman will take on Claremont Mudscripts next weekend in Claremont, and then the final game of the regular season here in SCIAC, senior night, where we take on Laverne Leopards. And that one, sure to be a good one, as Chapman's trying to punch home their ticket to the SCIAC ticket.
And, you know, one thing that I have to mention, they're going up against Claremont again. Rematches are hard. We just saw right here why that's tough. It's hard to beat a team a second time. When you already have film on them, how they approach you from the first game, you know, there's bound to be adjustments. So this is going to be the toughest game for Chapman. After that, it's a clear shot on a senior night versus a Laverne team that's been struggling. This is the week coming up right here.
Absolutely.
Now that they set themselves up, they're playing a team that they beat once already and a team that wants to beat them. They don't want to lose to them again. So this is going to be a huge setup to see how they do this. But also worth mentioning, Luke Peterman, now this is going to be a second game. He's going to have a little bit more time with his receivers. Let's see how he comes out, because in the end too, Luke is only going to get better as time progresses, as he gets more reps, as he knows his receivers, as he knows the offense and feels comfortable. And this is a great first game for that.
Absolutely. And I mean, Chapman, after this one, firing on all cylinders, offense, defense, special teams. Bob Owens is going to be sleeping nicely well tonight as that one, 38-10, Chapman versus Cal Lutheran. I've been Nico Schwegler alongside the, as always, incredible Alejandro Flores. And that's been us from CSBN, signing off.